Batting third, number 5 from Kansas State University.
From McDonald Stadium in El Dorado, Kurt Caden and Avery Osen. Kurt, take it away.
Number 19 from Seminole State. Broncos first baseman.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to El Dorado Bronco Baseball on a beautiful Wednesday night from McDonald Stadium, Brad Long Field. Tonight, league play in the Jayhawk Conference begins as El Dorado will host the Derby Twins. Kurt Caden, Avery Osen with you here for another exciting night of Bronco baseball. And Avery, great to see you again. A beautiful venue here, and two teams that are on a roll right now coming into play tonight.
Yeah, both teams are undefeated coming into this game, both at 3-0. So we're in for a pretty good contest tonight.
And, of course, both have been out of league. This league opener, as I mentioned, for the Broncos, a nice two-game sweep of that mini two-game series over Denver. And, the Broncos are 3-0. Nothing has come easy, but that's kind of fun. I think that makes these guys a little tougher, and they've responded to very tough situations this year.
Yeah, they have. And like you said, you might not see it this week, next week, but you'll see it come in BC tournament time whenever hopefully the Broncos are playing in Wichita. You'll be able to see this team, and if they're down, they're going to know how to come back.
We're going to honor America with tonight's national anthem, so let's let you listen in here tonight from McDonald Stadium.
See by the dawn's early light, what a cloudy weekend, and twilight's lasting, the whisper of suns and bright stars through the perilous night, forever 3 months. Birds will gallantly singing, and the God is ready, Lord, first gate through the night, that night still there. Oh, sailors and stars-spangled
And when you get to the end of the national anthem, it's time to play ball. And we've got a good one set for you here tonight with the Braves, with the Twins. I was looking at my hat. I'm a Braves fan. We got the Broncos and the Twins. So we're going to have a first pitch thrown out here. And while that's going on down in the field, let's give you the Derby Twins batting lineup. They will lead off with Juan Rivera at third base. Tanner Kirk bats second. He's playing shortstop. Tyler Eager, the center fielder, bats third. Dylan Dillard in left field will bat cleanup. Colin Neville batting fifth, playing first base. Austin Orth, the catcher for Derby, bats sixth. Griffin Glaude, the second baseman, will bat seventh. Ty Reddington, who Avery and I are familiar with from Mulvane High School, is the designated hitter, and Jared Flax is the right fielder. On the hill tonight for Derby is Stuart Patkey.
And let's go through who is on the field tonight for the Broncos. We'll go left to right from outfield first. In left field, Clayton Dalrymple. In center field, Dylan Muka. And in right field tonight is Jacob Spring. In the infield, we'll start with third base, Trevor Azell. He's had some great plays to start off this year down on the short corner. Shortstop tonight, Morgan Oliver. Second base, Levi Parker. And at first base, Brandon Cuddy. The catcher tonight, Jonathan Schmitz. He will be catching the ball from starting pitcher Mike Hahn.
Second time we've seen Hahn. He pitched Friday night in the opener against Hayesville. He was around the strike zone a lot, Avery, but not a lot of success. He went 2+ innings, gave up 7 hits, 6 runs. He gave up 1 home run ball, and that was a grand slam, you might remember. 1 strikeout and 1 walk, but 6 earned for Hahn in just 2+ innings. I'm sure he'll be looking to improve on that here tonight.
And I'm sure he will have a better performance tonight. Get the first one off your chest, and now you're back out, and it's time for a league play. So this is the one that really matters.
And, he wasn't awful. He just he was around the plate a lot, didn't walk anyone, but Hayesville was putting the ball in play on Friday night, and they had some success. So we're ready for the first batter of the game, and it's Juan Rivera, the third baseman. A left-handed stick, and the first pitch in there for a strike. 0-1, Hahn quickly back to the hill and to the plate, and it's a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Derby won a close one over Valley Center last night. There's the 1-1, just off the plate, 2 balls and 1 strike. And Derby had a couple wins over Oklahoma City, I believe I heard him say. 2 balls, 1 strike, Hahn to Rivera, a little high and tight, and it's ball 3. Tanner Kirk will be next for the Twins. The Derby Twins, the El Dorado Broncos here tonight. And on the 3-1 pitch, got a good pitch. He slapped it foul down the left field line, and that'll fill it up. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Derby with the yellow vests and red undershirts. El Dorado not going with the black vests and black undershirts. Here's a pitch right back to Hahn. Boy, he's in great fielding position. Underhand toss, and the first out of the game. Brandon Cuddy receives the ball from Hahn for the first out. Here comes Tanner Kirk. Plays his ball at Wichita State. He's from Lincoln, Nebraska. Right-handed batter. And he'll step in. So we've seen the white tops for the Broncos. We've seen the orange and now the black ones. All very sharp-looking uniforms. First pitch, a curveball strike for strike 1. Do you have a preference?
I like the orange. It's a unique baseball color.
There's a high tapper to first. Cuddy fields it, flips it early to Hahn, which is really important there, Avery. And then Hahn's able to catch it and run to the base. Instead of making a Hahn look for the base, and then throw it, got it to him early, and I thought that was very important for the second out.
Yeah, if he can catch and then, like you said, be able to look at the base, that was key in that play, and a good throw there. First play there from Brandon Cuddy, as this is his first game of the season.
Yeah, Cuddy just joining the squad here. First pitch to the number 3 batter, Eager, is high and ball 1. Eager, the starting center fielder, left-handed batter for the Twins. So they start off left, right, left against the right-hander, Michael Hahn. The second pitch popped out to center field, room service fly ball, and that will be hauled in, and that'll end the inning as Dylan Muka brings it in. Another new name for us here this year for the Broncos. So a very efficient and easygoing top half of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. We're halfway, we've played a half inning. Derby nothing, El Dorado coming to bat. Let's take a look at what's the El Dorado lineup here. They will lead off with Sam Lane, the designated hitter. Levi Parker bats second. Clayton Dalrymple will bat third, the left fielder. Brandon Cuddy at first base bats fourth. Jonathan Schmitz will bat fifth. The catcher, Trevor Azell at third, batting sixth. Jacob Spring, the right fielder, will bat seventh. Dylan Muka, the center fielder, batting eighth. Morgan Oliver is the shortstop, and he goes back down to the number 9 slot in the order.
Now let's take a look at who is in the field tonight for the Derby Twins. In outfield, starting in left field, Dylan Dillard. In center field, Tyler Eager. In right field, Jared Flass. In the infield tonight for the Twins at third base, Juan Rivera. Shortstop is Tanner Kirk. Second base, Griffin Glaude. And at first base is Colin Neville. Catcher tonight is Austin Orth, and he will be catching the ball from starting pitcher Stuart Patke.
Nice top half of the first inning for Michael Hahn as he retires Derby 1-2-3. So the pitcher, Stuart Patke from Austin, Texas, plays his ball at Abilene Christian University. And he'll be looking at the first 3 hitters of Sam Lane, Levi Parker, and Clayton Dalrymple. And we see Coach Gerwick kind of experimenting a little bit order-wise, Avery. We've seen Morgan Oliver, after some success at number 9, he moved up to the number 3 spot. Didn't have a lot of success, so he's back to the 9 hole where he was comfortable, and we're going to see Brandon Cuddy move up to the number 4 spot here, looking to make a big impact early on.
And, that's kind of tough for Gerwick the first game. He's never probably seen some of these players play, so you're kind of just sticking him, and that's what the first 3 games are for, is to see where everybody fits. And then here in the 4th game, that he's kind of getting a better look at where different players should be in the lineup.
And you keep getting some new players. Cuddy and Muka here tonight now as Lane chopper over the pitcher. Patke, Lane racing down the line, and he beats the throw. An infield single for Sam Lane. Oh, the shortstop, Kirk, was just waiting and waiting and waiting for that ball to come to his glove. It finally came, but not enough time to retire Sam Lane, who runs really well. And we have seen El Dorado aggressive early and often all season long. No reason to think they won't stay that way, although Lane with a modest lead off of first base. Levi Parker batting second for El Dorado, a left-handed stick. Patke set and deliver. And looking to bunt was Parker, a little bit off the plate, and ball 1. Levi Parker, he's been lead off and second base, or batting first and second. We saw him batting 9th on Monday night. Back up to the number 2 hole. Better lead this time for Lane, and Parker takes a strike. Ball 1, strike 1 to Levi Parker. Parker playing his college ball at Emporia State University. 5'9", 160. He'll step in. 1 ball, 1 strike for Parker. Patke, a long look in. Now he's set. Lane off of first base. The 1-1 is not going to come. It's a bounce throw past the first baseman to the fence. There goes Lane looking at his third base coach. He'll round it on his way to third. Here comes the throw. Save. A gift for El Dorado. A 2-base throwing error on Sam Lane, for Sam Lane to advance from first to third, the error to Patke. That was a very difficult pick for Colin Neville over at first base. And one of the, of course, unique ways of every baseball field has their uniqueness. There's a lot of foul territory, especially over on the first base side. So if you throw it past first, it is going to go, and if it skips on the turf, it's really going to go, and that's what happened there, and that allowed Lane to go first to third. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Parker, and a chance to drive in Sam Lane and put the Broncos on top. And Parker fouls one out of play. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. These teams, as I studied the schedule, will play each of the next 3 Wednesdays. Next Wednesday, Derby's back here in El Dorado, and in 2 weeks from tonight, El Dorado's at Derby. 8 matchups in total between these teams in the upcoming season. This is matchup number 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Parker takes a fastball inside. Here comes Lane. There's going to be a play at the plate. No, there isn't. Lane slides in safely. So pass ball, I guess we'll give the catcher Orth there. And so a chopping infield single for Lane. He advances to third on a two-base throwing error, and now he scores on a pass ball. Here's Parker, and he'll strike out swinging. So a 1-0 lead for El Dorado, and Clayton Dalrymple will come up to the plate. Dalrymple was the hitting star for these Broncos in the win over Denver on Monday night, going 3 for 4, scored a run, stole a base, had an RBI. In fact, had hits in his first 3 at-bats on Monday in the win against Denver. Dalrymple will take a look at strike one, fastball across the outside corner. 1-0 Broncos. Third time in 4 games the Broncos have drawn first blood and grabbed the early lead. And the one time they didn't, you might remember, they fell behind 4-0 before they put together a really nice comeback and won 8-5. No balls and 2 strikes here to Clayton Dalrymple. Patke, the wind and the pitch, and Dalrymple slaps one foul down the right field line. Dalrymple hanging in there. Plays his ball at Kansas State. Right-handed batter, got good size. Patke bringing in the 0-2 pitch, and a good check there from Dalrymple. Appeal down to first base, but Dalrymple did not go. Clayton this year at Kansas State batted .241, 4 doubles, 13 RBI, 21 walks, and 10 stolen bases in 46 games. And he finished third on the team in stolen bases. He was 10 for 11 stealing bases for the Cats. The 1-2 pitch is high, and it's ball 2, strike 2. And that's what we've seen from Clayton early on this year for the Broncos. He likes to run, and he's had a lot of success early on. The 2-2 pitch, and swinging at a high strike for strike 3. So 2 away, 1 in, and our first look at Brandon Cuddy.
Your Broncos first baseman, Brandon Cuddy.
Cuddy from Tulsa. Plays at Seminole State. So we welcome Cuddy to the Broncos. Left-handed batter against the right-handed Patke. And a line drive right back up the middle. A solid base hit for Cuddy. So the first pitch he sees in the Bronco uniform in 2014 is a line drive single. And that'll bring up Jonathan Schmitz, the catcher.
Jonathan Schmitz.
Jonathan Schmitz, of course, had a career night here on Sunday, a 3-home run night. And if you missed that game, you can look at our archive here on the YouTube channel and you can relive it. First pitch is a strike. Again, if you can't make the game, you can watch it on YouTube. If you make the game, you can still go back and watch the archive on YouTube from start to finish. Thanks to all who have been sending in their comments. We do love hearing from you, and feel free to keep them coming. 1-0 El Dorado. We're in the bottom of the first inning. Schmitz with an 0-1 count for the Broncos, and a curveball in there for strike 2. So we've seen a steady flow of fastballs from Patke, but then he dropped in the curve there on Schmitz, and he wasn't quite expecting that, and now in a big hole at no balls and 2 strikes. Azell would be next. Cuddy takes his lead off of first, just a couple steps off the base. Patke delivers outside and high. A ball and 2 strikes for Schmitz. Of course, in that win Sunday night, Schmitz had the 3 home runs. Morgan Oliver had a home run, 4 dingers in total for El Dorado, and none of them just barely scraped over the wall. The 1-2 is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Patke's uniform has already come untucked from the backside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 1-0 El Dorado. A big throwing error from the pitcher, Patke, has helped El Dorado grab the lead. Schmitz hits one into the hole. Kirk fields it, bobbles, throws it to second, and a nice job. The runner is safe. I'll tell you what, Griffin Glaude made a tremendous catch. Cuddy was sliding in. Glaude went to the air and nearly got upended, but he still made the catch. So that'll be a base hit for Schmitz. An error is given. Gary's tougher than I am. I was giving him a hit. That was a tough play into the hole, but an error is assessed to Tanner Kirk. And Ezell lines one down the right field line. That'll nearly get to the wall. Ezell going in for 2. Cuddy will score. Schmitz advancing to third base. So an RBI double.
All right, Broncos fans, coming to the plate from Coffeyville Community College.
For Trevor Ezell.
Number 9, Jacob Spring.
And now 2 runners in scoring position for Jacob Spring. Schmitz goes first to third on the double. And a visit to the mound for Derby. 2-0 Broncos. 2 errors in the inning against the Derby Twins. One could have gone either way. I don't know. Looking over at Avery, a hit or error on that one in the hole. Error, you think it was an error? If he fields it cleanly, he would have been out. So I can see that. Gary's pretty fair on his stats down there. So Jacob Spring to the dish for the Broncos. Spring batting .250 on the season. 3 hits, and he's in search of his first RBI of the year. He's got a chance for 2 of them here. Schmitz at third, Ezell from second. And Jacob Spring takes the first pitch, and it's just inside, ball 1. Ezell and Cuddy, first pitch swinging, and boy, they really made solid contact. Cuddy, a line drive single to center field for him, and then Ezell, the double just a moment ago. Spring ahead 1-0. The pitch from Patke, low through the catcher's legs, and here comes Schmitz, and he will score. Another pass ball for score for the Broncos here. So Orth having a little bit of trouble there behind the plate. It wasn't a great pitch, but it was one that he probably felt he should have snagged, and it got through him, and it slowly rolled to the backstop, and that allowed Schmitz to score easily. Now Ezell over at third, 3-0 El Dorado, and another ball in the dirt. Nice pickup here by Orth. So 3 balls and no strikes. Dylan Muka would be next. This is the 7th batter to bat here in the bottom half of the first inning, and already some action down in the Derby bullpen. The 3-0 taking all the way was Spring, and it's a strike for 3 balls and 1 strike. 3 runs and 3 hits, 2 errors for Derby here in this Jayhawk opening ball game between the Twins and the Broncos. Spring. And another one past the catcher. Ezell coming in, and this time he's going to be out, and he may have rolled his ankle. He slid in awkwardly. That fastball ricocheted so far off the backstop, it went right back to Orth. And Orth actually hesitated a moment, but then was able to get it to the pitcher, Patke, and they tag out Ezell, and he's trying to walk it off. It looked like he slid, and he kind of jammed his ankle into the turf, and he never really, it really almost stopped right there, and so he's going to try to walk that off. A good inning nonetheless for El Dorado. They score 3 times on 3 knocks. 2 errors from the Twins, and nobody left on base. We're through 1 inning. El Dorado 3, Derby 0. More Bronco baseball in a moment here.
For a fundraiser and disaster preparedness event at the El Dorado Broncos baseball game, Saturday, June 7th, 7 o'clock. Come out and watch great baseball team and donate to help the Butler County Animal Response Team fill our disaster response trailer.
Yeah.
And leading off this inning for the Derby Twins, number 14, Dylan Dillard.
So welcome back. Top of the second inning from El Dorado. A 3-0 Bronco lead. And the number 4 batter, Dylan Dillard, the left fielder for Derby, steps in. Michael Hahn had a very efficient, easygoing first inning where he had Rivera ground out to him, then Kirk grounded to Cuddy at first base, who flipped it over to Hahn. Foul ball from Dillard down the left field line. And then Eager popped out to center field. 3-0 Broncos. 1 ball, 1 strike. Our first pitch temperature tonight right around 90 degrees. Ball up the middle. Oliver, a nice bounce to him over to first base, and an easy out recorded. 6-3 for the first out. Looking up in the sky, we don't really have any threat for rain here in the early evening. Overnight, maybe even early tomorrow morning, we're supposed to get some rain. A lot of rain is in the forecast for the next few days, which I'm curious how that will affect the weekend series with haze here at El Dorado. But right now, there's blue sky up above with some scattered clouds up above as a drive here by Neville to right center field, and that is gone. First pitch swinging was Colin Neville, and boy, did he drill that one over that flew over the 375 sign area, and a home run for Colin Neville. So that makes the score 3-1. And Austin Orth, the catcher, comes up. Orth from Fort Collins, Colorado. Plays at Yavapai Community College, which I'm not familiar with. Sun shining through the clouds. Hahn delivers a first pitch strike to Austin Orth. Griffin Gloud will be next for the Twins. For the second pitch, the 0-1 is outside and low, ball 1. Michael Hahn, he is, like many of these El Dorado pitchers, they get the ball and they are back on the slab and ready to go. They do not waste a lot of time up there. And as a former infielder, boy, you just appreciate that so much. You just don't have to sit and wait much. You are ready to go. And early on in the season, the El Dorado defense has been pretty darn good, and I think that's got to be part of it. Hahn just low. Boy, that was a good-looking pitch, but it's called a ball, and it's now 3-1 against Orth. El Dorado scored 3 in the bottom of the first. A Colin Neville derby home run here in the second has made it 3-1, and now Orth finds the gap in right center field. Running it down out in center is Muka. He's got it, but not before Orth has a stand-up double. So a couple of good whacks here against Hahn after Dillard grounded out harmlessly to Oliver. A home run from Neville and a double from Orth. And Griffin Gloud will come to the plate. Left-handed batter is Gloud. Griffin from Beebe, Arkansas. B-E-B-E. Left-handed batter. Here's Hahn to the plate. And kind of a blooper into left field. Dalrymple fields it on one bounce. Fires to Azell at third, and they threw him out. What a play by Dalrymple and a tremendous tag applied by Azell. And Orth really was sold that Dalrymple might make that catch as Clayton kind of deked like he was going to make the catch, and then he fielded it on one hop and fired a strike to Azell. So a single, that'll be a single for Gloud, and Orth is retired 7-5. And again, another sparkling defensive play from this Bronco team. 3-1 Broncos, 2 down in the top of the second inning. The designated hitter, Ty Reddington, to the plate. Hahn fires a strike. No, that's going to be called a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Reddington had a fabulous high school career at Mulvane High School. And there he is playing some summer ball for the Derby Twins. He's ahead 2-0. Curveball dropped in there for a strike. Beautiful pitch on 2-0. Sure what Reddington was expecting, something straight and fast. Reddington plays his college ball right here in El Dorado. Butler County got the runner leaning, but the throw was off the mark a bit as Glaude was certainly leaning towards second base there. Here's Hahn with the pitch on 2-1. Bounces one in. Schmitz with a nice stop, but now it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Jared Flax, the right fielder, ready to bat next for Derby. 2 down. We're in the top half of the second inning. A lot of excitement early on in this one. El Dorado 3, Derby 1. Hahn set, fires to first, and Glaude is back as he only has about a three-step lead over there. So, again, welcome to all of you watching and listening tonight. Hope you're enjoying our webcast. Hahn, 3-1 pitch is called a strike. Glaude was going, returns to first base, and boy, did El Dorado make that close. I don't know if that was supposed to be a hit and run, or did Glaude think the count was full or what, but he didn't get a very good jump, but he went about 6 or 7 steps off the base, retreated. Didn't look like El Dorado had any chance of getting him at first, and Oliver fired a bullet into Cuddy at first. Now a 3-2 pitch is low and ball 4. So Reddington draws the walk.
Number 4, Jared Flax.
And Jared Flax coming to the dish for the Twins. Again, if you're enjoying the broadcast, drop us a line. Avery and I would love to hear from you. cadenbroadcasting@gmail.com, or you can just do what Mr. McGowan did the other night and just write. You can put comments right there on the YouTube page that you're watching. You can just write a comment right there, and that's real easy to do. And if you do that, we generally can get a look at it right away. Otherwise, I have to check my emails at home. 2 on, 2 down, a 1-0 count to Flax. The pitch is in there for a strike. Three to 1, a lot of numbers on the scoreboard. JD, the scorekeeper, is having to stay busy tonight with his finger work. Here's a pitch hit down the left field line. Dalrymple has the catch, and that will end the inning. Flax put a pretty good swing on it, but Dalrymple runs it down with that great speed. Not a bad inning for the Derby Twins. 1 run, 3 hits. There was no errors and 2 men left on base. We're through 1.5. El Dorado 3 and Derby 1. More play-by-play in a moment here as you are watching and listening to El Dorado Bronco Baseball.
Just a reminder, Broncos fans, if you can't make it to the game, you can watch and listen to.
And welcome back here to El Dorado. The Broncos leading the Derby Twins 3 to 1 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. And if you remember, at the end of the bottom of the first inning, Jacob Spring drew a walk. It was a wild pitch, but it ricocheted right off of the backstop back towards the catcher, who flipped it over to Patke, and they tagged out Azal, who was trying to score from third base. So Spring gets a walk, but he was barely, I don't even know if he made it to first base before he had to come back, because that was the third out of the inning. Dylan Muka, the center fielder, will lead off the bottom of the second for El Dorado. Patke will look to have a better second inning as he starts off Muka with a strike one. A rough first inning for the pitcher Patke for Derby. Of course, he was added to some of the trouble as Muka slaps one between third and short for a base hit. The two-base throwing error from Patke did not help. Plus, of two pass balls, scored 2 runs for El Dorado in the first inning. So Morgan Oliver coming up. And another walk by the manager for Derby to see what's going on with Patke. They have someone ready in the bullpen. Patke was taxed certainly in that first inning, and a leadoff base hit here by Muka in the bottom of the second. Kind of get the, I was going to say, you kind of get the feeling that he's going to make the move. The umpire was not coming on out there, but just the way everyone's body language was, the outfielders gathered, you kind of had the feeling that might be it for Patke. And he was around the plate, but pass balls hurt him. 2 errors in that first inning hurt him, and he just never really got into a good groove here tonight.
No, he didn't. And he's not coming out right now because of pitch count or anything. It's just I think they feel that this might not be his night, and before it gets any worse, they're going to go to the bullpen, and this is a chance for the Broncos to get some hits off their bullpen and hopefully score some runs here.
So we won't have the official numbers on Patke. Of course, the runner on first base is his responsibility. So Sean Laughlin from Coffeyville Community College by way of Overland Park, Kansas, will come in to pitch for Derby. We'll tell you more right after just a short time out here as you listen to El Dorado Bronco Baseball. And welcome back. As I was just looking through that first inning for Patke Avery, Lane starts off with a single, eventually gets to third base on that throwing error, but don't forget Patke struck out Parker and Dalrymple. There was 2 outs, and it was just 1-0. But as we've seen from this Bronco team, if they get extra outs, they generally have not let teams off the hook. They take advantage. They take full advantage of those opportunities, and they did it again here tonight.
And that's exactly what you got to do whenever your team is punish the other team for their errors and mistakes, and the Broncos have totally capitalized on that in the first 3 games, and even through 1 inning tonight.
It's really remarkable when you think of all the opportunities they've been given, and they've not, for the most part, failed, and that's a great sign. I mean, all the Major League Baseball we see, you see a lot of times teams don't take advantage of those, and El Dorado in 3, now 4 games has done exactly that. So Morgan Oliver to the plate against Sean Laughlin, and off to the races, and no chance to get Muka. He had that stolen easily. Oliver with a check swing there. I think he was going to commit, but he saw that huge jump by Muka. It is a strike on Oliver, but a good job by Morgan not to really swing at that and foul it off or anything, because Muka had that stolen easily. So Muka down at second. Nobody down. Laughlin, a right-handed pitcher, to the dish. And Oliver hits it up the middle. That will get Muka over to third as the out is recorded 4-3. Fielding that ball over at second base was Griffin Glaud. So 1 away, and a good piece of hitting there by Oliver. Wanted to get the run over to third, try to keep on adding on here as the Broncos lead 3-1, but you have a feeling that 3 may not be enough against this Derby team.
Yeah, it's good team baseball there from Morgan Oliver. Just advance the runner, and hopefully Sam Lane here can capitalize with the guy on first with 1 out. Very fundamentally sound is this team. Coach Gerwick deserves some credit. Of course, these players that Doug Bell has brought in deserves a lot of credit as well. Sam Lane singled his first at bat.
Down at third is Dylan Muka. 1-1 pitch to Lane, and Lane with a check swing foul, and that'll make it 1-2. Levi Parker will be next for the Broncos. Sam Lane plays at the University of Texas at Tyler. And he had a pretty good season down there. Batted around 279, 280. Played in a lot of games for Texas at Tyler. He fouls off the 1-2. Standing in, Sam Lane leading off, designated hitter tonight. And the 1-2 fouled off again by Lane. The Broncos are at Wellington tomorrow night. Of course, Wellington, the team that finished the season for El Dorado last year, and Wellington ended up getting second at the NBC World Series. Lane, a sharp single to left field. An RBI single for Lane, and that scores Muka easily. So Lane early on 2 for 2. And here comes Levi Parker, and Avery with Sam Lane at first. We know what he is, a real nuisance to pitchers.
Yep, and he's probably going to make him distracted here, and the pitcher's already staring at him. And that's whenever you do that as a base runner, that's one of your goals is to distract that pitcher so maybe he can throw a ball that Levi Parker can easily hit. And any throwbacks to first so far this season, the young season, I haven't seen Lane really get close to being picked off. Lane not going. Parker squares, and the pitch is a strike. Parker struck out in the first inning. One of 2 strikeouts for Patke. Laughlin on the mound. The pitch. Parker fouls it off. So you can close the book on Patke. He goes 1+, gives up 4 runs, 4 hits. He walked 1, and he struck out 2 tonight. Morgan Oliver got Muka over to third with a ground out to second, and then an RBI single from Sam Lane. 1 away here in the bottom of the second inning, and El Dorado leads 4-1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Laughlin, like I said, from Overland Park. Plays his college ball at Coffeyville Community College. Laughlin's pitch. Lane is going. Parker hits it straight up into the air. The third baseman is going to field it, Rivera, and Lane quickly retreats back to first base. So 2 down, and here comes Clayton Dalrymple. Dalrymple also a strikeout casualty back in the first inning. Dalrymple played last summer for the North Central Kansas Knights. He batted .300 last summer, 3 doubles, 4 RBI, and 12 runs in 21 games. Pitch or the throw over to first base, checking on Lane. He is safe. Kurt, as you were saying earlier, as a pitcher, obviously you got to keep checking these runners. But, any overthrow is first to third for pretty much anybody with how long the fence is away from the foul line. And I could see, a lot of times this summer that some pitchers get too worked up with the guy at first base and maybe just makes a bad throw. And first to third, I could see that happening a lot here.
Lane, a bigger lead, but again, back easily. And, pitchers, they want to throw a strike. They want to throw it low so the first baseman can just catch it and apply the tag. But what we saw from Patke in the first inning is he skipped it. It hit kind of the infield cutout and didn't give the first baseman Neville much chance. And it has to be an advantage for the base runners, too, knowing there's so much room behind there that you got to be careful as a pitcher. You don't want to airmail one or spike one into the turf, and you will give the runner 2 bases, like you said. And that's where Neville has to come in to be a catcher. Lane stealing. Orth couldn't get it out of his glove, and Lane probably would have had it stolen anyway. A stolen base for Sam Lane. So Dalrymple now has Lane in scoring position, 2 balls and 1 strike. And now Lane may have jammed his hand into that base as he's coming off. We saw this from Morgan Oliver the other night, and he had to get retaped. The excellent trainers here for the Broncos are provided by Susan B. Allen Memorial Hospital. So Lane in a lot of pain, and it looks like they're holding the finger more than they're keeping a finger there. So what we saw with Oliver, although manager Gerwick now is going to the umpire, so unlike the other night, Avery, where took 3 or 4 minutes, but they got Oliver all taped up and he was able to return to the game, it does not look like Sam Lane is going to be able to return.
And by expression, Lane seemed to be in a lot of pain there. He was kind of had his left hand stretched out, and we'll have to see. We'll try to give you an update on what we hear on him, but he seemed to be in a lot of pain after that stolen base.
Well, you just see it so much anymore in baseball. Everyone likes to slide head first, but boy, if you catch that base just wrong, you can jam or dislocate a finger or a wrist. We've seen shoulder injuries from guys sliding in and whatnot. And boy, Azell had a rough slide earlier in this game, but he was able to stay in the game. But Sam Lane having to leave this game after that stolen base. Cameron Knight comes out to run. We would assume he will stay in that designated hitter position. And we hope the best for Sam Lane because he's been a lot of fun to watch here early in the season. 4-1 El Dorado, a 3-1 count to Clayton Dalrymple. He is way ahead here. Knight gets a good lead with 2 away and the pitch way outside, so Dalrymple will walk. And Brandon Cuddy, who saw 1 pitch from Patke, and he liked it, and he lined it to center field. Just didn't score anyone because Lane had already scored. So, Cuddy, the first baseman, as a good gust of wind comes in. Feels good, but when you don't have your papers really secured, we probably should do better at that, shouldn't we?
Some paper rocks up here.
We like the windows open. The video is much better if you can go right through the window instead of having to look through the glass. No balls and a strike, and Cuddy fought it off, and it's foul. No balls and 2 strikes. Dalrymple at first. Cameron Knight running for Sam Lane is down at second base. On deck is Jonathan Schmitz. Boy, Dalrymple, Cuddy, and Schmitz, that's a lethal 3-4-5 for these Broncos. Stepping out is Brandon Cuddy. No balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. We're in the bottom of the second. A 4-1 El Dorado lead, and they're looking for more. Sean Laughlin, who came in relief for Patke in this inning, deals, and Cuddy down the left field line. Fair ball. That'll score Knight. Here comes Dalrymple to third, and he will stop there. It is a double for Brandon Cuddy, and the Broncos extend their lead to 5-1.
We did hear some stuff the first couple of games about a player coming in named Brandon Cuddy, and he's living up to his expectations here. Started off with a single in the first inning, scored, and just had a single in the first inning, and then just now here in the second inning, already a double with an RBI with it.
2 for 2, 1 run scored, 1 RBI, and he's down at second base. Jonathan Schmitz steps in. Schmitz reached by air in the first inning and scored a run. And the pitch, and Schmitz had a mighty whack. He fouls it off out of play and nearly hit a passing car outside. Schmitz reached on the air by Tanner Kirk, went first to third on the Azell double, and then scored on a pass ball.
The first 2 games of the year, the Broncos, we saw their offense come alive in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning, 8th, and 9th inning. But here, the past 2 games, their offenses came out right from the start. 5 runs already in 2 innings. I know last game they had 4 runs in the first 2 innings.
Schmitz looks inside, ball 1. Yeah, and then, of course, against Hayesville, they got out to a 2-0 lead against the Aviators before eventually falling behind 7-2 and then coming all the way back to win 8-7. 2 down here in the bottom of the second. 2 out there for Schmitz. The pitch, and he had a good read. He was out in front of that changeup, it looked like, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. By the way, last night, these Broncos were scheduled to play Hayesville in Hayesville, and there was video. I put the link on the Broncos Facebook page, but they couldn't play because there was no umpires. So they didn't play. So they drove to Hayesville just for some team bonding, if nothing else, I guess. 5-1 El Dorado. Here's the 1-2 to Schmitz, and it's bounced in there, and a nice job by Orth. He blocks it, but he can't find it. Now he does. Fires it down to third, and back in there safely is Dalrymple. The ball came to rest right on the first base line, and I'll tell you what, I had to look a couple of times. I couldn't see it either. It almost blended right in there. So Dalrymple down at third and Cuddy at second. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jonathan Schmitz at the plate for the Broncos. Trying to really open this one up with a base hit. Here's the pitch from Laughlin, and Schmitz way out in front, and he hammers that a mile foul. Some fresh baseballs for the umpire. Boy, Schmitz, not many times, Avery, does he get cheated at the plate. He takes a pretty good rip at it.
Yeah, that one, I think would have just been a little bit later on that one. Could be a 3-run home run for him.
Long look in here for Laughlin. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and Schmitz will call time. All ready for the Bronx. 5 runs on 6 hits and no errors. 1 run, 2 hits, 2 errors for the Derby Twins. Both teams coming into play tonight, 3-0. As they open league play here tonight. Laughlin to the belt, and here's the pitch to Schmitz, and he rips one down the left field line. That will score 2, all the way to the fence. Schmitz rounds first to his second. It's a stand-up double. 2 runs in, and it is 7-1 El Dorado.
Now at the plate, your third baseman, number 1, Trevor Attell.
Schmitz stays hot here in this one for him. 2 for 2. A double, a single, a run scored, I believe 2 RBIs.
Well, officially they give him 1 for 2 since he reached by error.
Oh, yep.
So, but still, a run scored, a couple of RBIs, yeah. An excellent start. Boy, the El Dorado hitters, Avery, sometimes you worry, a night off. There aren't many nights off as I was looking at the schedule. I mean, it is game it seems like almost every night. They get an unexpected night off from hitting, and I don't know, sometimes that can be a bad thing. It looks like it's been a good thing because they have really come out and jumped on these Derby pitchers early on.
7 runs and 7 hits here, and it's only the bottom of the second inning.
And they're not bleeders or little, for the most part, they're squaring them up pretty good. Here's Trevor Azell, the third baseman, and he takes a whack at the first pitch, flies it out to left field, and that'll be caught, and that'll end the inning. But Schmitz with a big 2-out, 2 RBI double. There in the second inning, the Broncos score 4 times, and after 2 innings of play, it's El Dorado 7, Derby 1. More play-by-play in a moment. You're listening and watching to El Dorado Bronco Baseball.
For sure, screw that up because
Oh, it counted as a walk. Okay. Yep. Okay. Clarification.
And welcome back to El Dorado. The Broncos leading 7-1 after Packey went out giving up 4 runs through 1+. Laughlin gets touched up for 3 runs in that inning. The only bad news for the Broncos in that second inning was Sam Lane going down with some kind of hand or wrist injury. So we wish the best for him, and we'll let you know if we do find anything out. The Broncos lead 7-1, and here's Avery Osen.
Due up here for the Twins, batters 1, 2, and 3. We'll start off with Juan Rivera, then Tanner Kirk, followed by Tyler Eager. As Rivera slaps one to left field, and it gets past Dalrymple through his legs. So it'll be a double, or a single and an error, and Rivera ends up on second base to start off this third inning.
Number 3, Tanner Kirk.
Yeah, it looked like Clayton roamed over to field that towards the line and just kind of took an awkward hop on him and went right past him. So he'll be credited, like you said, with an error there.
And looking out in the outfield, right where he's standing, there's some parts of the grass that I think filled in with maybe sand or something, and it very easily could have hit one of those bumps and went right through his legs. So now up Tanner Kirk, the shortstop, as Mike Hahn throws one low for the Broncos to start this at bat 1-0. On deck, Tyler Eager. Next pitch from Hahn is low, and it looked like a little check swing, but held up, and it is 2-0. Tanner Kirk, right-handed batter against right-handed pitcher Mike Hahn. Next pitch is in there, fastball for strike 1. Kirk grounded out to first base in the first inning as the umpire calls time. 7-1 Broncos lead, top of the third inning. 4 runs in the second, 3 in the first. Pitch from Hahn, just a little low and inside. That'll give the batter Tanner Kirk an advantage here at 3-1. Next pitch from Hahn, curveball and inside. And Tanner Kirk is on with a walk.
15, Tyler Eager.
Now center fielder Tyler Eager, who flied out to his counterpart center fielder Dylan Muka back in the first inning. So Eager, the left-handed batter, steps into the box after getting some words from head coach. And we're ready to go. Hahn's first pitch of this at-bat is low. Good stop there from Jonathan Schmitz to not let the runners advance. That'll keep them at first and second base. Juan Rivera standing at second, Tanner Kirk on first. Next pitch from Hahn, also low. 2-0. Dylan Dillard standing on the on-deck circle, taking some practice swings. First and second, no out. Next pitch from Mike is low, and it is 3-0. Kurt, we have a name, third base coach, manager for them. Let's see, we can get a, thank you, David Albritton, telling Tyler Eager no swing here, and Hahn throws low again, and a 4-pitch walk.
14, Dylan Dillard.
Everyone moves up a base, and we have bases loaded with no out. Chad Gerwick heads out to the rubber to talk to Mike Hahn, and we'll have this bases loaded at bat. Coming up, more Broncos baseball. Chad Gerwick heads back to the dugout as left fielder Dylan Dillard steps into the batter's box. He grounded out to shortstop in the second inning. Dillard from Jacksonville University. First pitch from Hahn is in there, and it's a pop fly to Cuddy. He catches it in the first base coach's box for out number one. And a big out there from Hahn, as that opens up a lot of options here. Chance for double play on the ground with one out. Colin Neville up. He homered back in the second inning. In for strike one. One out, bases loaded here at McDonald Stadium in El Dorado. Broncos lead 7-1. Hahn steps off the hill and he will reset. Colin Neville, the first baseman. Next pitch is swung on and missed. In the second inning, Neville hit that home run, which really got Hahn off his groove. He retired the first four, and then the next three base runners after Neville got on. 0-2 pitch here from Hahn, outside for ball one. Standing on deck, Austin Orth, the catcher. He had a double back in the second inning. 1-2 pitch from Hahn. Swung on and fouled down the left field line. We'll do it again. Derby in the yellow uniforms with kind of the maroon helmet. El Dorado in the black uniforms as Hahn throws one low to even up the count at 2-2. Landon Bush from K-State warming up in the Broncos pen. 2-2 pitch from Hahn. Swung on. Bouncer to Cuddy. He's going to go to second, and it's not in time. And that'll score one. As Neville is awarded with a single there. That cuts the deficit down to 5 for Derby. Broncos still leading 7-2. Austin Orth stepping into the right-handed batter's box. Kirk on third, Eager on second, Neville on first. 0-0 pitch in there, good fastball right down the middle from Mike Hahn. He gets ahead of Orth right away, 0-1. Orth taps the home plate with his bat and now ready for the pitch, and it's low and outside for ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here in the top of the third. Derby already has put up 1 this inning. Looking to drive in some more. Next pitch from Hahn. Gets past the catcher, Schmitz, and they'll score Tanner Kirk from third. And it is 7-3. That also advances Eager and Neville to second and third. And a 2-1 count now to Austin Orth. Right-handed pitcher Mike Hahn's pitch is lined to right field. In there for a base hit. Skips past Jacob Spring, and that'll score 2. And it's an RBI single from Austin North. And it is a 7-5 game. Griffin Glod up. He had a base hit back in the second inning.
Number 22, Griffin Glod.
Orth standing at first. Hahn's delivery. Outside for ball 1. Glod ready for the pitch. 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. High strike to even the count at 1-1. Glod, the Twins' second baseman. Due up next is designated hitter Ty Reddington. 1-1 pitch from Hahn. Takes an extra look at first base, and he'll throw one outside for ball 2. Two-one count, 1 out. Swung on to left center field. Dalrymple's there for it. He makes the routine play. And there are 2 away here in the top of the 3rd inning. Now down to the 8th batter in the order, Ty Reddington, designated hitter. Austin North still on first base. Pitch from Hahn. And they have Orth caught in a letdown. And they hit the runner. See, that was Levi Parker. And an error as Orth. It's hit in the back, but he is now on second base. That pitch from Hahn was outside for ball 1. 1-0 pitch. Catches the inside and strike 1. One pitch, 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. Inside and a good, looked like a curveball there from Hahn, but just a little too far inside. Doesn't get the call from the umpire, and it's 2-1. 2-1, excuse me. 2-1 pitch from Hahn. Fouled off the back screen. Evens up the count at 2-2. Very rare to see 2 4 spots put up in only 2.5 innings played. But we have so far tonight. Hahn's 2-2 delivery, just barely outside. Good pitch there from Hahn, and the count is full. We've seen a lot of unusual things here in the last 2-3 games here at McDonald Stadium. Always something new. Hahn's 3-2 delivery, low. Hahn didn't like the call. And we have guys on first and second with 2 outs. And Jared Flax up the right fielder for the Twins. Guys on first and second. First pitch is low. Good stop from Schmitz. 1-0 Flax. Hahn's 1-0 pitch. Also low, hits the base. Schmitz throws one down to second, but Ty Reddington there in time. Tying run now standing at second base. Wild pitch there from Mike Hahn. The count moves to 2-0. Next pitch also a bit low, and Flax jumps out up 3-0 here against pitcher Mike Hahn. Next pitch gets past Schmitz. Schmitz dives for it, gives it to Hahn, and he'll tag out the runner at home. So Mike Hahn gets out of a jam. It would have been bases loaded, 2 outs. Instead, a good play from Schmitz after the ball got past him to get it thrown to home, and a good tag from Mike Hahn to get the Broncos out of the top of the third. The damage was done, though. Broncos lead 7-5.
And leading out this inning for your Dorado Broncos, your right fielder number 9, Jayhawk League.
Back here at McDonald Stadium, Broncos hold on to a 7-5 lead. No, we're not in the 7th or 8th. We're in the bottom of the 3rd. Jacob Spring batting for the Broncos, leading off here. Sean Leflin in for the Twins as he delivers strike 1 to Jacob Spring. Next pitch from him. Line down the left field line, and it drops in for a base hit. We'll see if Spring tries to stretch this out to a double, and he doesn't. But a leadoff single for Jacob Spring.
Hey, I was going to say, you mentioned some of the oddities of the game. As well, I'll fill you in more here after this pitch.
Dylan Muka now batting for the Broncos. He had a single and a stolen base and a run scored back in the 2nd inning. First pitch to him is in there for strike 1.
We've seen 2 innings end with a batter getting walked on a wild pitch and a runner coming down from 3rd getting tagged out at home. That's happened twice, and we're in the bottom of the 3rd.
Next pitch from Laughlin is outside.
You don't usually see that.
Yeah.
And again, it was the same kind of play. The ball ricocheted a little further off there for Schmitz. He was able to get it, and or the catcher doesn't run as well as maybe some other guys, and he was down by a step or 2.
Next pitch, low for ball 2. And if you've never been to McDonald Stadium, the backstop is concrete. So any ball that comes with any force really bounces off that wall. And so it really keeps the catcher alive if the ball gets past him. As 2-1 pitch thrown on and swung to left field, hit to left field, and it is caught for out number 1.
And you might think, this game might be going a little longer than usual. You'd be right in assuming that outside of the top of the 1st, where Derby was retired 1, 2, 3, Derby sent 6 batters and then 9 batters to the plate. El Dorado has sent 7 batters and 8 batters in their 2 innings of play. So a lot of pitchers being taxed early on.
We'll see lots of at-bats from these guys and lots of pitchers probably in this game. Morgan Oliver now up to bat, the shortstop for the Broncos. He grounded out to second base in the second inning. Oliver had a home run in Sunday night's game. 0-1 pitch to him. Swung on over the left fielder's head. And he'll have a for sure double, maybe more. Around comes Spring. Play at the plate, not in time. And the Broncos tack one more on here in the bottom of the third. A good hit from Morgan Oliver right over Dylan Dillard's head. And he goes in with a double. Very well struck there by Oliver to left field, right over the left fielder's head. And we see both Dalrymple and Dillard, the left fielders for these teams, standing right in that kind of that hole out there where it's been filled in with sand. You just kind of wonder what kind of jump you can get out of there, but that's the popular spot. Each center field spot kind of has some worn-out grass where the outfielders stand. But Oliver had a double no matter where he was standing there, unless he would have been on the track. Now up to bat, Cameron Knight, 2 for 2 in this one.
Knight came in for Lane.
Lane, who was 2 for 2, and now Cameron Knight starts on this at bat at 2-0. 8-5 Broncos.
In the third.
Morgan Oliver on second. As a good hit from Cameron Knight right up the middle. Gets past the second baseman. Oliver on his way home. And he will score as Cameron Knight continues the trend with the one hole tonight with a single.
And again, Avery, we see the aggressive nature of Coach Gerwick. That was a well-struck ball by Knight. The center fielder playing in a little bit. He fielded that even before Oliver had touched third, but the stop sign was not given. The Morgan came on in, and the cutoff man for Derby, they might have had a play at the plate, but the cutoff man reached up and tipped the ball, and when he did that, there was no play.
Levi Parker up to bat now as he fouls off the first pitch of this at-bat. Start off at 0-1. 1 out. Cameron Knight at first. 9-5 Broncos. Parker's hits it to left field and is caught by Dillard. And Knight makes his way back to first, and there's 2 outs.
Not many times, Avery, in a game you see Levi Parker, the number 2 hitter, now Clayton Dalrymple, the number 3 hitter. We're in the bottom of the third, and these are their third at-bats of the game. They have batted each of the first 3 innings, along with the number 1 spot, which would have been Lane, but he was hurt after his second at-bat.
So Clayton Dalrymple, 0 for 1 tonight with a walk. 2 outs. First pitch from Leflin is in there for strike 1 on the inside half. Next pitch from him. Bunted down the left field, or down the left foul line. And
third baseline,
excuse me, and that...
I knew you were searching.
That goes foul. Good attempt there from Dalrymple, though. He definitely has the speed. And that was Rivera on third base, who was playing way back. If he would have kept that in fair territory, he would have been a single easily.
And it's funny, Rivera goes right back where he is. I mean, he's closer to the outfield grass than he is the infield cutout.
Be interesting to see if...
Of course, there's 2 strikes, I guess. Sorry.
Yeah, if Clayton tries this again, he still could with 2 strikes. Dalrymple calls time.
For Derby's manager, Albritton here, their starting pitcher, Matt Patke, gave up 4 runs. Now Laughlin's given up 5, but you just can't keep bringing more and more arms out there.
Broken bat. Dalrymple will beat the throw as he tapped a ball to Rivera at third base. And Kurt, I think that is, we see it all the time in the pros, but I think that's the first broken bat we've seen here.
Yeah, it is, and that got that right off the label. But again, we mentioned Rivera playing so deep at third, it hurt him there because the ball didn't have a lot on it, and Dalrymple beats it out. And now, boy, I'll tell you what, Brandon Cuddy is just the guy El Dorado wants at the plate.
2 for 2 tonight. 2 runs scored. First pitch, inside, ball 1.
We are starting to get some action now in the Derby bullpen again.
1-0 pitch, swung on, hit to center field. Should be a routine play for Eager. And he will make the play and end this third inning. Broncos put 2 more runs on the board. They lead 9-5. We'll be back with more Broncos baseball after this timeout.
Hey, Broncos fans, I look out here in the stands. I see some Broncos players walking around. Take an opportunity to sell the 50-50 tickets. Dig deep in your pockets, grab some money, wave it in the air. They'll run over to you. It's 3 tickets for $1, $10. It's your opportunity to win half the pool tonight and also support your Broncos players. Now pitching for your El Dorado Broncos out of Kansas State University, number 22. Landon Bush.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a couple times in a field. Have to move here. Our first game,
Broncos lead this one 9-5 here in the top of the 4th inning. Landon Bush from Kansas State University. Gonna have the hill now as Juan Rivera is up to bat for the Broncos. First pitch from Bush is in there for strike 1. Next pitch from him, a little outside as Rivera maybe attempted a bunt there, pulled it back. 1-1 count. He swings one, hits one to Cuddy at first base. He'll toss it over to Bush, and they get him at first base. Another good play there from Cuddy to throw it to Bush before he was at the base. So he caught it and then had time to look down at where he was at. And out number 1.
And Rivera runs well. That was not an easy play, but well done there by Cuddy and Bush for the Broncos.
Pitch from Bush to Tanner Kirk. Inside for ball 1. Not very many times do you see the scoreboard start off the game with 3, 4, and 2 as Kirk hits one high in foul territory as it's caught by Trevor Azell. We're out number 2.
Avery, I got the numbers for Michael Hahn. 3 innings pitched tonight, gave up 5 runs, gave up 5 hits, but the big number, 5 walks from Hahn, 4 of them in that 3rd inning that seemed to never end. And fortunately for the Broncos, ended with a pass ball at home plate that they got the runner out at. But 5 walks and 5 hits given up by Hahn tonight.
It could have been worse. Luckily, Schmitz was right there after a pass ball as Bush throws one inside to make the count 1-1 with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Tyler Eager at the plate. Next pitch from Bush, a little high, 2-1. As I was saying earlier, the Broncos put up 3 runs in the bottom of the first, 4 in the bottom of the second, and 2 in the bottom of the third as they lead 9-5. Next pitch from Bush is outside for ball 3. So 3-1 to Tyler Eager, the center fielder for the Twins. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a walk and a run scored back in the 3rd inning. Next pitch is a little inside, and he will walk Tyler Eager. So the Twins have a man on with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th with Dylan Dillard up at the plate, the left fielder. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded out to the shortstop in the 2nd inning and popped out in foul territory back in the 3rd inning. First pitch from Bush outside for ball 1. Dillard was up in last inning in the 3rd inning with the bases loaded, and it looked like after that pop-up maybe Broncos 1 out with bases loaded could have gotten out of it. But he'll hit one high and deep left field line, and it is over the fence and gone. Dylan Dillard, a 2-run home run. More runs scored in this game. And this score, Broncos still leading 9-7, but Dillard brings home 2 with that home run.
And Avery, again, the inning kept alive with a walk. Walks have hurt El Dorado here tonight. That's 6 walks against El Dorado pitching in 3 2/3 innings. Just can't afford to just keep putting guys on. That's what El Dorado does to other teams, and now they're giving Derby a chance, and Derby's showing some power here tonight.
Next pitch from Bush in there for strike 1, and Bush cruised through those first 2 batters. What was that? I don't know if you're keeping 3 pitches. I think all it took was for the first 2 batters, and a walk and a home run now as Colin Neville, who had a home run back in the 2nd inning, up to bat, and Bush jumps right ahead at 0-2 with 2 outs. Next pitch from Bush hits the dirt on the right-handed batter's side. Ball 1.
These teams meet 7 more times, Avery. Tell you what, if they're all going to be like this, managers are going to need more pitchers.
Go get some players signed real quick, and another ball in the dirt from Bush. Evens up the count at 2-2. Landon Bush, 2-2 delivery. Chopped to Parker at second base. His throw is a good one over to Cuddy, and that will get us out of the top of the 4th inning. 2-run home run in this one from Dylan Dillard. Cuts the deficit to 9-7. Broncos up to bat. Bottom of the 4th inning. More Broncos baseball coming up.
Now pitching for the Twins, number 10, Gabe Strong. Another reminder, Broncos fans, you've got some Broncos players walking around selling 50-50 tickets. It's your opportunity to dig deep, get some money out, support the Broncos program. Take your time as you're buying tickets with these guys and talk to them about where they're from, how they're enjoying our fine town. Most of these players travel in, spend time with families here in town, enjoy their summer at El Dorado, and get to play baseball. So dig deep, get your money out, Buy some 50-50 tickets, 3 for $1 or 10 for $2.
Broncos lead here in the bottom of the fourth inning, 9-7.
Leading off this inning for your
A new pitcher in for the Twins, Gabe Strunk from Mulvane, Kansas, goes to school at Fort Hays State University. So Strunk plans on coming in and limiting this damage that the Twins have not been able to do so far tonight. And Jonathan Schmitz up for the Broncos. 5, 6, 7 hole hitters coming up. Schmitz, Azell, and Spring. First pitch from Strunk is hit deep, left field. And it is, hits the wall. Schmitz, a stand-up double. Man, that was about a foot away from another home run from Jonathan Schmitz. And Kurt, like you said, every time he comes up to the plate, it's dangerous for the pitcher.
He really put a good whack on it. Now, the other night, you might remember, Avery, the wind was blowing from right field out to left field. As you look at the flags tonight, it's blowing the opposite from left to right. That may have held it up just a bit, but you're right. It hit at least halfway up on the wall and nearly got out of here. And a good start to the bottom of the fourth for El Dorado.
Ball one from Strunk.
Avery, the book on Sean Laughlin. He goes 2 innings, gives up 8 hits, 5 runs. He walked 1 and had 0 strikeouts. So a rough go for Sean Laughlin, but he did eat up a couple of innings for Derby.
1-0 pitch from Gabe Strunk is fouled, and for the second consecutive inning, we see a broken bat. And if you didn't know here, the bats in this league are all wooden. So another split bat. We hadn't seen one for the first 3 games, and now we see 2 in 2 innings.
That one really splintered. There was a little shard of it here behind home plate. There was another sliver of it up the first base line. I mean, that thing really, and it didn't, the whole bat didn't come apart, but just a section of the bat, and it really went in all sorts of directions.
And I think you see it on TV, and it's one thing, but once you see it in person, a lot of this crowd after both of those kind of ooh, ah, and it's something you don't see too often because you don't see very many teams play with wooden bats or very many leagues play with wooden bats. So the crowd amused by a couple broken bats here in the bottom of the third and fourth. Nevertheless, 1-1 count as Azell attempted a bunt and he fouled it off the back screen.
It's interesting, the philosophy here. Of course, a lot of runs being scored at a crazy rate here, but Coach Gerwick wants to work on getting the sacrifices down and, get another runner to third. I mean, you can't have enough runs here tonight, it looks like.
And as many as you can get. 9-7, bottom of the fourth. Trevor Azell, 1-2 pitch, and he checked his swing, but he went. And it looked like he did.
Yeah, it looked like a good call.
So 1 out in the bottom of the fourth. Jacob Spring, the right fielder, steps up. He is 1 for 1 with a walk back in the first inning. Strunk's pitch inside, and as Kurt mentioned earlier, he was a part of that weird case that he walked, but on the walk it was a pass ball, and the Twins threw, I don't remember which Bronco, I think it was maybe Trevor Azell.
It was.
Who got thrown out at the plate, which would have been the third out. So although he walked, he didn't spend any time on first. Up in the count 2-0 right now. Schmidt standing on second. Pitch from Strunk is low, and Spring up 3-0 in this at-bat. 9-7 Broncos. Next pitch from Strunk, fastball down the middle. 3-1. Strunk, right-handed pitcher out of Fort Hays State University. Next pitch from him is chopped to Gerwick, Chad Gerwick, the third base coach, for a foul ball, and that'll make the count full at 3-2. 1 out, Schmitz on second. 3-2 pitch outside, and Spring gets a walk with 1 out.
This time he'll get to be on first base for at least a little bit.
Dylan Muka, center fielder. I believe he's also occurred a new one that showed up, I think, just today. Good time for Muka and Cuddy to come, though, as league play tonight, starting with the Derby Twins as Strunk delivers ball 1 in this at-bat. Dylan Muka, 1 for 2. Back in the second inning, had a stolen base and a run scored. Next pitch from Strunk, low for ball 2. What I've seen from Strunk, really getting behind these hitters. He's having to work to try to even up the count. Lots of these at bats so far. Next pitch hits the corner for strike 1. 2-1.
Interesting on our roster. He's listed as an infielder pitcher. There's others that are listed as pitcher infielders. You get the impression infield is his specialty, but he also pitches.
Strike 2 from Strunk, and as you said, something cool to watch with these guys is these guys play multiple positions. They can go run out and be a pitcher. They can do the outfield. They can work the infield. So all these guys have many talents in this league. Loop hit to left field. Almost run down by Dylan Dillard in left field, but it drops for a foul ball, and that'll even up the count at 2-2.
Great effort by Dillard. He saw he wasn't going to get there, and instead of going full force into the fence there, he just went into as if he was sliding into second base feet first and safely slid in, and all is fine and all is well.
Muka, left-handed batter against the right-handed pitching Strunk. Guys on first and second, 1 out. 2-2 delivery outside, ball 3. There is only 1 inning, or 1/2 inning, that has no runs produced. That was the top of the first. Mike Han went 1-2-3 in that inning against the Twins. Next pitch from Strunk is low, and that'll load him up for the Broncos. Not the guy you probably want coming up if you're the Twins, in Morgan Oliver.
And another visit from the Derby pitching coach here. It's been one of those nights. Some weird plays, pass balls, a lot of walks from both teams, and not many strikeouts from any of the pitchers we've seen so far. It's been pretty much guys either putting ball in, basically guys just putting ball in play or getting walked. And here 2 walks and a double, and bases loaded with 1 out for Morgan Oliver.
All I have to say is David Albritton, the coach for the Twins, he's going to be sleeping well tonight. He's going to know that walk next time he's here in El Dorado. And as you said, he's made it out there 3-4 times tonight already. We are in the bottom of the 4th inning. Morgan Oliver steps up to the plate. 1 out, bases loaded. Could really make Strunk pay for these walks as Strunk delivers strike 1 to get ahead in this count. Oliver had a double just last inning. Ended up scoring off of it. 0-1 pitch. Low and outside, and it skips past the catcher, Austin Orth, but he jumps up and finds the ball quickly, so no advance for Jonathan Schmitz at third base.
I think Schmitz knows his speed. The ball didn't get past too much. There's only 1 out, and Oliver's been clutching this situation a lot here early on. Why risk it?
1-1. 1 out. Next pitch from Strunk. Fouled off the right side to make the count 1-2.
Avery, this batter, Morgan Oliver, marks the 4th time through the order for the Broncos. They will be getting Cameron Knight will be coming up, but the team will be getting their 5th at-bats as they turn the order over here after Morgan's at-bat.
Morgan hopes to get some more damage here as Strunk delivers a ball outside. A good stop there from Orth. Evens up the count at 2-2. Oliver, the shortstop for the El Dorado Broncos, started in all 4 games this year at that position. 2-2. Pitch from Strunk is lined down the left field line. It'll get down. 2 Broncos are home. Throws it into third base, not in time to get Jacob Spring. And a 2 RBI stand-up double for Morgan Oliver. Why not put some more runs up there? 11-7 Broncos.
Well, we've seen Oliver, I say all season, just the 4th game, but I'll tell you what, in games 1, 2, and 4, when he's batted 9th and he's come up with runners on, remember the 3-run double against Hayesville, here he is with a 2-run double against the Twins. He has been very clutch in that position, and the lead back to 11-7.
Cameron Knight steps up to the plate. Strunk throws ball 1-0 to Knight. Also inside, 2-0. And baseball is such I would say, more of a superstitious game than any other. And I would be putting Morgan Oliver at the 9-hole as balls hit the shortstop, and it gets past, or excuse me, how about Kirk threw it home to Orth, and it got past him in an easy run for the Broncos.
And you'll score that one a fielder's choice and an error. I don't know who you give the error to. It looked like a decent enough throw, but it was low. I guess you probably give it to the shortstop there. But again, for going and out, I know you want to get the runner at home, and it wasn't a terrible decision by Kirk. But you know, if you go to first base, the run scores, but you have 2 outs. The way this game is going, I'm not even sure if 11 or 12 is going to be enough. Tough decision there, and Strunk now has to go to work with 2 on and 1 out.
1-0 pitch. Swung on in between first and second. A good play from Griffin Glod to get Cameron Knight at second. But it scores Morgan Oliver. And that is another run for the Broncos, 13-7.
Another fielder's choice, but Levi Parker will get an RBI. That is a scoring play there for Parker. And 13-7, and by that line score, 3-4-2-4 for the Broncos. El Dorado 0-1-4-2.
Just crazy here.
Of course, now you got to be worried here. El Dorado scored 4 in the bottom of the second. Derby scored 4 in the top of the third. Then El Dorado scored 2 in the bottom of the third. Derby came back and scored 2 in the top of the fourth. And
Dalrymple drops the bunt down, and it's perfect. Rivera's really playing back on third base, and Dalrymple tried that, I believe, just last inning, and it went foul. But he knew if he tried it again, it would probably work. There he does it, and an easy single for him. But the thing with him, he lays down those bunts, but he can also swing the bat. And looks like Albritton will make a oh-so-regular walk that it's been this game out to the pitcher's mound. And now up to bat for the Broncos, Braden Cuddy. And he will be the 9th batter in this inning.
Strunk's night is over, Avery.
I think by the end of it, Kurt, you and I might be pitching.
That would really be a long game then.
No, that would.
Unless you and I are batting as well.
Then it'd be pretty. Well, you never know at the pace of this one. The pitchers are going down, and folks, we are in the bottom of the fourth. 20 runs have been scored. There have been 19 hits. about a dozen walks. So it's been a not so friendly pitching night between the two teams. We're going to take a break with them. Let us catch our breath as well. Broncos lead 13-7. More of this bottom of the fourth inning coming up. And the new pitcher for the Twins, Jeff Robertshaw from Sterling College. As Brandon Cuddy steps up. Guys on first and second, 2 outs. First pitch from him is hammered in between right and center field. It's going to drop, 2-run score, and Cuddy has himself a 2 RBI double.
He just waited on, I don't know if that was a fastball or a changeup. It didn't come in with some of the zip that we've seen from some of the other pitchers tonight. Robertshaw's got a bit of a quirky delivery just on that first pitch we saw, but Cuddy, who was first pitch swinging back in the first inning, you might remember, just sat back and pounded that thing into the right center field gap and scores 2 more, and 13-7, Bronco lead.
Jonathan Schmitz now stepping to the plate.
Batting for the second time this inning,
Yep.
Avery.
They've gone a full circle. Strike 1. I wonder if you're a hitter coming up, and, you know, this could not be right at all, but I wonder if the umpire's strike zone opens up a little bit more here as he sees the pitchers are struggling. That ball very well could have been a strike. It looked a little outside. It was called a strike. So I don't know how it occurred if, you know, as an umpire, if you open up your strike zone, not just to keep this game going, but to help out your Broncos and Twins pitchers a little bit.
Actually, Avery, I mentioned 13-7. That is not the right score. El Dorado has scored 6 times here in the inning.
Okay, that's what I thought. It was 15-7, but I was going to recount in my book.
Our scoreboard operator, JD, is walked off for a moment, and someone else is trying to fill it in and trying to figure it all out. But, yeah, it's 15-7.
1-1 pitch to Schmitz. It's hammered down the left field line, and it's going to be just foul.
Well, it's just a real change. Robertshaw is not a high-power, fastball pitcher. He's a location guy, and right now the Broncos are timing him beautifully. Schmitz, they're a little out in front, but they're not missing here, Cuddy and Schmitz here, since Robertshaw's come into the game.
I wonder if maybe that was Albritton, the Twins coach, thought process here. Maybe slow it down a little bit and see if he can throw off some of these hitters. 1-2 pitch. Fouled. That'll keep the count at 1-2.
These 2 innings, we switch off. I do the first 2, you do the second 2. It feels like you've done about 6 innings straight almost.
Yeah. Am I getting some of your pay tonight? Is that right?
I think you get it all. It was only 7-1 when I left the play-by-play. It's now 15-7.
Next pitch. Swung on to the shortstop. And a good throw. And that will get us out of this inning. So, at the end of the 4th inning, Broncos 15, Twins 7. We'll be back with more baseball from McDonald Stadium coming up.
Take your money out, make it do some work. They'll come over, take your money, 50-50 tickets, 3 tickets for $1 or 10 for $2. This is your opportunity to help support the Broncos program and maybe win a little money. 3 tickets for $1, 10 for $2, 50-50 drawing tickets.
And welcome back. Kurt Caden along with Avery Olsen from McDonald Stadium. And we've had, the first 3 games we've done here, Avery, been pretty efficient. 3 hours and 8 minutes, 2 hours and 44, which we're really thankful the night that the storm came in. We got out of here in time, and I think the other one was 2 hours and 56. I think we're going to go past that tonight because the hitting has been too good here tonight from both teams. El Dorado in that last inning put 6 runs on the board on 4 hits. They left 1. And they lead this one 15-7.
For any parents or friends watching on the East Coast, we will sing you a lullaby as you go to bed. Because it's, 9:45. I know, I think Jeremy McGowan's parents from Florida. So if they're watching tonight,
you're late local news. Again, drop us a line. You can give us a comment right here on the YouTube that you're watching. Let us know what you think of the game, the call, whatever you like. Hopefully the video is, I know it's not great. I wish we could zoom in more, but I think it gives you a good look at the entire field. As Orth grounds one to Oliver at short. Morgan's got time. Good, strong throw, and out. Which ever since the top of the first inning, it has just been long inning after long inning for both teams with a lot of walks, errors. We've had, Derby has 7 runs on 5 hits right now. That's not exactly sure if that's what I have. I have them for 6 hits, but still, they haven't hit the ball quite like El Dorado has, but they've benefited from walks.
Well, and that's the thing is they've been very long innings. And obviously there's been 23 or 22 runs scored as a foul ball is hit, but there's been lots of pitching changes, lots of both coaches have came out to the pitcher's mound almost a handful of times each. There's been long at-bats, which has really lengthened these innings.
Landon Bush pitching to Griffin Glaude. He's ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 down, we're in the top half of inning number 5, a 15-7 Bronco lead. And the 1-2 curveball is just inside, ball 2. Landon Bush, left-handed pitcher from Kansas State University. Glaude with a 2-2 count. Left-handed batter stays in there as the slider comes across, and that is inside. And again, an 0-2 count to 3-2. It's been tough to put batters away from both sides. Griffin Glaude Smacks one to third, and Trevor Azell snares the line drive for out number 2. And that'll bring up Ty Reddington. In a game with all these at-bats, officially Reddington right now is 0 for 0. He has come to the plate twice and walked twice. Tonight's game here in El Dorado, as the first pitch to Reddington is called a strike, is sponsored by the Butler County Times-Gazette. And we appreciated the paper we got when we came into the stadium tonight. Next pitch is a ball to Reddington. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that pitch outside. Good to see Matt Slaughter in the house as he delivers the money for the 50-50. And the 2-1 pitch on the plate for a strike. And Reddington looking at 2-2. Ty has not swung the bat much tonight. He has walked twice. He's looking at a 2-2 count here. Bush, the pitch. And again, he goes to the slider, and it got the outside corner, strike 3. So since the first time since the top half of the first, I can say this. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We're halfway through. 15-7 in favor of El Dorado. More play-by-play coming up in a moment as you watch and listen to El Dorado Bronco baseball.
Car wash companies, courtesy of Blackburn Construction, you can clean your dirty car. Again, the dirtiest part of the parking lot is a Ford F-150 dark gray with the U.S. Veterans Day. The derby of the Mexican coaches team in Montreal. And leading off this inning for your El Dorado Broncos, coming out of Butler Community College, your third base.
And welcome back, Bronco Baseball. Kurt Caden and Avery Osen. We will be covering all the home games, and never know if we might get some more in there, but all the home games we will have here. Tomorrow night, no coverage from Avery and I, and I'm not sure if Wellington covers. Well, I'll check it out, and if I find anything, I'll post something on the El Dorado Bronco Baseball Facebook page. Avery and I will be back here Friday night, the first of a 3-game series with the Hayes Larks. First pitch is a ball to Trevor Azell. He'll duck under the second pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. 10 men went to the plate for El Dorado last inning. They scored 6 times to stretch this game out to 15-7. Robert Shaw pitching. Azell pops it up into foul territory, and Rivera comes in to make the catch for Derby. Jacob Spring will be next. Spring, 2 walks tonight. He's 1 for 1, 2 walks. He has scored twice for the Broncos. And maybe we mentioned Coach Albritton maybe bring in Robert Shaw for maybe just a change of pace, and it didn't look like a great idea as Cuddy really greeted him, but then Schmitz, after some long foul balls, eventually grounded out, and now we see Azell way out in front. So maybe the El Dorado, their timing might be off a little bit here, and Spring will try to tee one up here with Robert Shaw. And again, underneath that one, and that's a fly ball out to center field and an easy catch for Tyler Eager. And, you know, when a pitcher is bringing it 85, 90 miles an hour, or 80, 85, whatever they're bringing it at here, it doesn't take a whole lot of power for it to go. But when Robert Shaw, who isn't throwing terribly hard, now all of a sudden you got to square it up a little better and you got to place it more. First pitch is a ball. Go ahead.
That's the key is, staying behind behind it and not getting too far out in front of it, which is what the first two batters have done here in the fifth inning.
Dylan Muka at the plate, lefty on lefty, and a slow curveball in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. So El Dorado at Wellington tomorrow night, home to Hayes. All Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All three games starting at 7 p.m. We'll have links for those games. There is rain in the, scattered rain. Nothing, it's not one of those where it's guaranteed, but they're saying we could get a lot of rain this weekend. We don't know where and when. So we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully we can get all three games in. Another slow curveball in there against Dylan Muka, the center fielder. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Morgan Oliver waits on deck. Muka tonight, 1 for 2 with a walk and 2 runs scored. He's got a stolen base as well. And another one just drifts off the outside corner. Ball 3, a full count. 2 away. In fact, Robert Shaw's retired the last 3 batters he's faced, which I think is the longest stretch for any Derby pitcher here tonight. It is.
Another thing that these Broncos hitters have to do here with a slower pitcher, you got to have great patience. And to be able to draw a walk is outstanding.
Full count here, and just off the plate, ball 4. So Muka will trot on down, his second walk in as many innings. He walked and scored in the 4th.
And sorry, as a hitter comes up, it's almost facing like a knuckleballer in the MLB. Your eyes get real big, and you think, oh, this is going to be easy almost, and it's not so. And so if you can, just like Muka, drawing a walk, that shows he has great plate discipline.
We may have Derby, of course, they broadcast their games. Robert Shaw delivers to Oliver a strike, but Derby has a radio internet broadcast, but they don't. I don't believe they have video. So we may have some Derby fans watching tonight, listening to our broadcast, and we're glad to have you along and welcome aboard to our El Dorado Bronco Baseball Network. Oh, no balls and 1 strike, and there's one that drops in front of the catcher Orth. He blocks it nicely and keeps it in front. Muka, no advance. 1 ball and 1 strike. 3, 4, 2, and 6 through the first 4 innings. A run scored by El Dorado. Oliver, 2 for 3 tonight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a check on Muka. He's back safe. Oliver has 3 runs batted in of the 15. But again, Oliver, Avery came up with that big 2 RBI double just last inning. Batting in the 9 slot again, where he just seems to be really comfortable. Muka off of first. He's going. A throwback to first. Muka all the way to second, and he'll get a stolen base. And that's what I wish I would see more from a lot of runners. When you get picked off, I mean, you just might as well just go. A lot of times you get in that pickle, and it's a lot to do about nothing. You just kind of got to put your head down and go, and that's what Muka did there, and he forced the issue, and he had it stolen. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Robert Shaw on the mound for the Derby Twins, pitching to Morgan Oliver, right-handed shortstop for the El Dorado Broncos. Robert Shaw's pitch, and just missed. Ball 2. I would say more so than other nights. This home plate umpire for both teams has been a little tighter than other home plate umpires, I think. I mean, of course, we don't have a great view as far as the ball, where it's going across the plate, but it just seems like there's been a lot of close pitches for both teams that have not been called strikes, which has not helped either.
Yep, and that's why I wonder, once these games get kind of like the score is now, 15-7, if the umpires open up their strike zone a little bit, or if they keep it as is, because, as you said, what has there been, a dozen walks in this game so far between the two teams?
I'd have to do my math. I'd have to do my calculator out. 3-1 pitch to Morgan Oliver as the wind really swirling now as Muka causes the attention of Robert Shaw. Wind blowing straight in now, straight at us from right field. That's why our papers keep blowing everywhere. The wind's coming right through our window. So if you hit one to right field, to get it over the right fielder's head on either team, you're going to have a pretty good poke. 3 balls and 1 strike. Robert Shaw to pitch to Oliver. Here it comes. Morgan fouls it off. And we got a full count. Cameron Knight waits on deck. 15-7 El Dorado. We're in the bottom of the 5th. This is the Jayhawk League opener for both teams. 8 games with Wellington this year, or excuse me, with Derby. Like I said earlier, they'll play each of the next 3 Wednesday nights. Next Wednesday, Derby comes back to El Dorado, and then in 2 weeks, El Dorado visits Derby. Here comes the full count. Robert Shaw. Here comes the pitch, and Morgan Oliver nails one to the center fielder. 1 hops, and running around third is Muka, and he will score. Morgan Oliver again. Line drive single to Eager, and Muka with 2 outs, Avery. He was running on contact, and he's got good speed, and he made it without a throw.
Yeah, he's got great speed over there. Muka did, and how about Morgan Oliver? Another hit in the 9th spot, and I think if I have my numbers right, he's 7 for 9 at the plate in that 9-hole roll.
Last inning he was with 1 out. He got that big double, but again with 2 outs, he's really clutch, and comes through there. 16-7 El Dorado. Robert Shaw's pitch is pounded by Knight. Eager, though, with that wind blowing in, is playing in, and he makes the easy catch. Another run scores for El Dorado. 1 run on 1 hit. No errors, 1 man left on base. We're through 5 innings. El Dorado 16 and Derby 7. More play-by-play coming up. You're listening and watching to El Dorado Bronco Baseball.
We would like to say thank you, Dick, for your service to our country. Hey, now pitching for the El Dorado Broncos, number 14 out of Newman College, Joe Kennedy.
And welcome back to El Dorado. 16-7 in favor of the Broncos as we enter the top half of the 6th inning. El Dorado's brought in a new pitcher with his name and the play-by-play. Here's Avery Osen.
Joe Kennedy is his name. The right-handed slinger will throw this 6th inning with Jared Flax up for the Twins. Kennedy's first pitch of this game is in there for strike 1. Broncos lead 16-7. Flax hits one down the line. It's a fair ball, and a good play there from Brandon Cuddy, who made the stop and then ran it over to first base and touched the bag for out number 1. So Flax is retired. And Juan Rivera, right-handed batter, who is 1 for 3 tonight. Kennedy's first pitch, low and outside, ball 1. Next pitch from him. Hits the outside corner, strike 1, a good pitch there from Joe.
We've seen Kennedy each of the first 4 games here. He comes in for an inning or 2.
Strike right back at Kennedy, and it hits his thigh. Morgan Oliver is just going to eat the throw.
I'm not sure if it sounded like maybe it got him on the hand as well. Kennedy doesn't want anyone to come out for attention, but He may have gotten that either off, like I said, the thigh or the hand. We'll see. He's not really showing his hand much right now, letting us know what might have gotten hit.
Saw one of his teammates kind of point towards his hip. But he, as Kurt said, looks like tells his coach, I'm good, and let's go.
Avery, the book in on Landon Bush. 2 innings for Bush tonight. Gave up 2 runs, but just 1 hit. It was that 2-run homer from Dillard. He walked 1 and he struck out 1 tonight. But overall, in a game like this, Bush, a pretty good job.
I was going to say, in most games, 2 innings, 2 earned, that's okay. But and as Kennedy throws a strike. But in this one, when there's been 23 runs across and we're not even done with 6 innings yet, I'd say that's a successful night.
Yeah, I think so too.
0-1 pitch from Kennedy. Swung on right back to Kennedy. He throws one to Oliver at second. His turn. Throw it first. And he got him. A double play. Morgan Oliver, a great turn at second base as he kind of caught that ball and had to turn sideways. A great scoop from Brandon Cuddy. And Joe Kennedy goes and gets the order, or faces the minimum. That's what I'm trying to say here in the top of the 6th. And the Broncos, usually wouldn't make too big of a deal out of a 1-2-3 inning, but in this game, it is 1-2-3. Go the Twins. The Broncos coming up by 9 here in the bottom, going into the bottom of the 6th. More of this game coming up. You're listening to El Dorado Broncos baseball.
All right, Broncos fans, we're going to be drawing for the 50-50 drawing at the top of the 7th inning. So right at the very top of the 7th inning, we'll be drawing for the 50-50 drawing. And that race tonight was $150. So if you win, you're, $147. So if you win, you're half of that would be $73.50. So we're drawing for that at the top of the 7th inning.
As Thriller by Michael Jackson is played here at McDonald Stadium, and that would be the least to say about this game. Thrilling, Thriller, as the Broncos lead 16-7. Kurt, how about that double play there, 1-6-3?
The bat was broken on the play. We didn't even really mention that. Kennedy's throw to Oliver as he was racing to shortstop was racing from shortstop to second base was on the shortstop side. He had to reach back. He kind of pirouetted around, kind of back with his back heel as strike 1 comes across, touches second, then spins at second and wings one to first base. It was a bang-bang play. The call went El Dorado's way. There was a little bit of argument from Derby coaches, but that was an absolute top play from the Broncos here tonight.
And the ball is hit by Levi Parker to the third baseman, and he will get him out at first base for out number 1 here. As new pitcher for the Twins, Tanner Rayburn. Is that not?
That's still Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw still in, excuse me. I thought I saw a new number out there. But they do have some action in their bullpen right now. 16-7. Broncos with the lead here in the bottom of the 6th. And Clayton Dalrymple up for the Broncos. First pitch to him, a little high for ball 1.
Tell you what, Robert Shaw has really calmed the waters here for the Derby Twins in his time in there. He gave up a rocket to Cuddy, but after that, he's done a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's really, like you said, just calmed the waters, and I think the biggest thing with him so far is he's throwing strikes.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe 1 walk, or I see a walk and a base hit in his time in this game.
Cuddy and Oliver actually greeted him with hits and the walk to Muka, but you know, the way the Derby pitchers have been tonight, he has by far been the most effective.
1-2 count. to Dalrymple. Pitch. Grounded to Rivera at third base, and it skips over him. Dalrymple's going to try to make this 2. He's going to actually double think that, and he runs back to first, but a single there. We're going with Kurt single.
Yeah.
Single there from Dalrymple.
Yeah, I think Rivera diving there. I think you got to give him a base hit.
And now Brandon Cuddy. I'm excited to watch this kid play this summer. All he's done tonight, 3 for 4. 2 doubles, 2-run score, 3 RBI. Robert Shaw checks Dalrymple at first. Can't blame him. The speed that he has is incredible. At the same time that I say that, it's his speed and the jumps that he gets. He can read a pitcher like no other. He makes stealing bases look very easy. Robert Shaw, left-handed pitcher, staring right at Dalrymple. The pitch. Swung on, and it's deep. It's a no-doubter. And a 2-run home run from Brandon Cuddy. I think that almost hit the field across from us. And the Broncos take a double-digit 18-7 lead.
Well, Cuddy has not had any issues against Robert Shaw. Robert Shaw met Cuddy, the very first batter that Robert Shaw saw back in the 4th inning, and it was a 2 RBI double from Cuddy, and it was a bomb there in the 4th inning. And here, a no-doubter, like you described so well, a no-doubter over the right field fence, and that'll end the night for Robert Shaw. And it's like you said, a double-digit lead now for El Dorado, and again, you just kind of have a feeling you got to keep hitting against these Derby Twins because they're a good squad.
And we will have another pitching change here for the Twins, but Brandon Cuddy should get at least, it would be close. He maybe could get one more at bat in this game. The way it's going, he'll probably get one. A triple shy of the cycle. For now, the Twins switching pitchers. We'll get a name on him. And Jonathan Schmitz coming up to bat for the Broncos. Broncos lead 18-7. We'll be back with more Broncos baseball coming up.
Now pitching for the Derby Twins, number 37, Tyler Shane. Batting for the Broncos, number 24, Jonathan Schmitz.
Back here at McDonald Stadium, Jonathan Schmitz stepping into the batter's box. New pitcher for the Derby Twins, number 37, Tyler Shane. From Butler County Community College, he lives his hometown, Derby, Kansas. Schmitz, right-handed batter. And a 11-run lead for the Broncos. First pitch is high and inside, and Kirk, nothing against Shane here. Looks like a very good pitcher. That ball just looked like it was coming in very fast compared to what Robert Shaw has been pitching in it. That ball, probably normal speed for these college pitchers. but they just seem to be coming in extra quick now after Robert Shaw came in, and he was more of the accuracy type of a pitcher.
Yeah, threw a lot of curveball sliders, trying to work in and out of the plate. But yeah, I'm not good at gauging speed just from here, but you kind of get the feeling like Robert Shaw might have been around 55 to 65 miles an hour, where I think a lot of these guys are around 75, 80, 85 even. And so, yeah, it looks like a huge difference. For Robert Shaw, he goes 1 2/3, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs. Forgot to mention about Gabe Strunk, 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 6 runs allowed. As this is the 5th Derby pitcher tonight.
2-1. Swung on and fouled.
And Avery, we got an email earlier in this game. Sam Lane was injured, and it looked to us like a finger or a hand or a wrist. We have not heard anything, but after this half inning, I'm going to jaunt down to the dugout. I don't want to meddle, media people, but I'm going to see if maybe I can get someone, if they can just give me some information so I can pass it along as Schmitz pounds a single out to left field.
I know. I think it said that we got that from his grandpa. First off, thank you for listening.
Sure.
Like to hear from our listeners, and as any family member would, after they hear their child is injured, of course, wondering, what the status of his injury is and how he's doing. So we will try to get as much information and pass it along, as Kurt said, to you.
And hopefully the coaches, they know that we're broadcasting, that we're video streaming. Really, this is a service for all those folks that can't come to El Dorado and see the game, so you can watch them online and listen to Avery and I. And so hopefully they'll give us something. A lot of times coaches, as you and I well know, when you're doing radio and you're covering teams, they generally don't tell you much, but maybe we can get some information here. A little more of a select audience, I think, tonight.
0-2 pitch. Swung on in between first and second base. It's a single. As Schmitz will stay put at second base.
Avery, the second baseman, Griffin Glaude. Of course, we talked about El Dorado being way in front of Robert Shaw because he was throwing it slower. I think Glaude there figuring El Dorado is going to be a little behind. So even a left-handed hitter, Glaude was shading more towards second base, not figuring that Ezell was going to be way in front and hit that right between first and second. But that's exactly what Trevor did. An excellent job of hitting. And El Dorado's got something cooking again here in the 6th.
Jacob Spring up to bat. 1 out. First and second. First pitch in there for strike 1. If you can believe it, the Broncos have scored in every single inning. And not only have they scored in every single inning, this makes sense, only scored 1 run in one of those innings. So all the other runs have been one run or plus. As I'm going to jinx that, a ground ball to third base. Just as a broadcaster does. As Spring grounds out to the third baseman, Rivera, who threw it over to first for a quick double play. And that is the first. Is that right? They still got 2 runs.
Yeah, they still scored.
They still scored, but after that pitching change, it felt like a inning change. So excuse me, I didn't jinx them. How about that? As the Broncos still put up 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th, lead 18-7. We'll be back with more El Dorado Broncos baseball here on YouTube.
793-387. 793-387. Now pitching for your El Dorado Broncos, number 34, Wade Adams. All right, Broncos fans, Jason from El Dorado just won $72.50 for playing our 50-50 game tonight. Let's hear it for Jason. And thank you, fans, for your donations to the El Dorado Broncos baseball program.
Quade Adams now pitching for the El Dorado Broncos here in the top of the 7th. As Tyler Eager will step up to the plate for the Twins. Here's what the line score looks like for the Broncos tonight. 3 runs in the bottom of the first, 4 in the bottom of the second, put up 2 in the bottom of the third, a big inning in the bottom of the fourth, scoring 6. Only 1 run in the bottom of the fifth, and 2 runs in the bottom of the sixth to give them 18 runs on 19 hits. As Kurt is currently down by the dugout trying to get a word on the status of Sam Lane. He appeared after stealing a base. He was holding his hand. And so we will see what that is and how he's doing. Hopefully, it looked like he was getting some pretty good information down there. So we will forward that along to you as soon as Kurt gets back up here as a 1-0 from Adams. Hits the corner for strike 1. Wherever you're listening from tonight, send us an email or just comment on our page right underneath this video. There should be a place to comment, and we would love to hear who you are, what relation you have to the team, whether it's a friend, family member, where you're listening from. We'd love to hear it and like to see who's listening and where from. As a 2-1 pitch from Adams. Swung on and fly foul behind the Broncos dugout. 2-2, it's even here in this at-bat. Tyler Eager, the center fielder, up for the Twins. Pitch from Adams is fouled. Off for... And that'll actually keep the count at 2-2. Couldn't tell if he actually got a piece of that ball, and the umpire says he did. 2-2 pitch from Adams. Went a little off speed on him, and he was way early on that one. He got a piece of it, and it is fouled into the Derby Twins dugout. Next pitch from Adams is outside. Make this a full count, 3-2. As the Broncos lead 18-7 here in the top of the 7th. Next pitch from Adams. Low and outside, ball 4. So that'll start the inning well for the Twins. And Kurt, you're back up here. Do you have any updates to give us?
I do. First off, I was going to say the last thing a manager wants in an 18-7 game when you're ahead is to walk the leadoff batter. But trying to get some information down in the dugout. They say it's the tip of his finger. They don't know anything yet. I'm not sure if he's going to need an X-ray or what. Obviously, it was very painful. But they said they were pointing at the finger, and they said, Sam's okay. I think he's in the dugout. He didn't come talk to me. But they said it was his finger, the tip of his finger. So
pinky?
That's what they pointed at. Now, I don't know for sure. That would make sense. The way he slid in head first, maybe he got it. I think it was his left hand too, but I certainly can't be positive on that. So to Mr. Culp, was it?
Let's see.
Who was
Mr. Culp? Yep.
Yeah. We that's what we know right now, and as we get time here from the batter. So I would imagine, although it's not a serious injury, but fingers are so important in baseball. I mean, we hope that it's nothing broken, because that would keep him out for certainly a few weeks, you would think. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe we'll get more information certainly by Friday we'll know. We won't have the broadcast tomorrow at Wellington, but that's all I was able to find out.
We wish Sam all the best here throughout the next couple days. I'm sure I'll be finding out with some tests and stuff, and we hope everything comes back negative. Head over to third baseman. That is Azell, who tossed one over to Parker. He got the guy at second. A little too late to get the guy at first, and it is one out here now in the top of the seventh.
Well, Dillard and Neville. Dillard just grounded to third for a fielder's choice, and now Neville. These are the two twins that have gone deep. So good job by Adams to keep Dillard, a harmless ground ball down to third. I think Azell took his time there. Why not? Just make sure you get the out. You don't want to throw it over his head or anything. You're up 11. Just keep getting those outs now. Get them counting down because you're in the final, 8 outs that you need to win this game.
And that's the key that we've seen through these past couple of games is getting the for sure outs. And Azell did a good job. Didn't do anything too much there and got the out as Adams was throwing in the dirt. 1-1. Up for the Twins, Colin Neville, the first baseman, had a home run back in the third inning as a strike, and that makes it 1-2.
Second inning.
What'd I say?
Third.
Yep. I stand corrected.
I'm sorry.
And a swing from Dillard. And that is strike 3, so that'll put 2 outs on the board. And Austin Orth.
Really had Neville fooled there, Avery. That was not a good-looking swing from Neville, and we've seen him with some very nice-looking swings tonight, but that one was not. He was fooled by the pitch from Adams, and 2 down here in the 7th.
Austin Orth, the catcher. Been very busy tonight. Pitch inside from Adams. Orth gets ahead 1-0. 18-7 Broncos. Top of the 7th inning. Dylan Dillard on first. Pitch from Adams. Little inside. Ball 2. Pretty good crowd here at McDonald Stadium sticking around to see if the Broncos can pull off this first league win. Next pitch. Low. Ball 3. The ball's, they're right on the corners. Just not getting the calls from the umpire here. 3-0 pitch in there, strike 1.
McQuaid, Adams, just watching. This is the first time we've seen him, Avery. He really lets loose with that arm. It almost looks like his arm coils back after he throws it. He's got pretty good torque going with his front half as he's coming home.
Yes, he does. He's got lots of power. Orth takes a practice swing, and here we go, 3-1. Next pitch from him, swung on and missed from Orth, and that'll make the count full at 3-2. Three-two pitch. And it is low in the turf. And that is ball 4. So first and second with 2 outs. And Griffin Glod, Griffin Glod up. He is 1 for 3 tonight, as Schmitz would like to say something to Adams before this at-bat starts.
Maybe changing the signs a little bit with the runner now at second, maybe just encouraging Quaid and just saying, hey, we're up 18-7. We don't want to just make these guys hit to get on. Derby tonight, they have 7 runs, but I say just 7 hits when you look at El Dorado with 19, but 7 hits for Derby to my numbers here. Make them put it in play.
Yep, don't want to give any free base runners, especially when you're up by double digits. First pitch outside. Ball 1. Next pitch from Adams, also low, 2-0.
You know, we were talking about the wind blowing in from right field. The air has been kind of heavy, humid. It has that feel like, you know, we could get rain or storms. That breeze coming in, though, it feels pretty good.
It does. And ball 3 from Adams, and he falls way behind. Glad here, 3-0. 2 outs, top 7. Already guys on first and second. Next pitch from Adams. In there, strike 1. Next pitch from Adams, 3-1 count. Low and outside. And that'll load him up for Ty Reddington.
For 11, Ty Reddington.
So all 3 base runners on right now, or excuse me, the 3 walks this inning. And so Chad Gerwick going to come out and just calm down the pitcher. They only need 1 out here to get out of here this inning, up 18-7.
Maybe the Stanley Cup Finals have started tonight. Los Angeles and New York, and a lot of intrigue for that, although I've heard a lot of folks say, you know, here it is in June. Baseball is in, you know, you got College World Series coming up, you got Major League Baseball, and yet winter sports like hockey and the NBA are still they're gonna decide their championships this week and next week.
Ball 1 from Adams, and you always get the only sport I don't hear that about playoff-wise is football, and I think that's mainly because there's not a whole lot of other sports going on at that time. Baseball hasn't. NBA is kind of in the mid part of their season, so is the NHL. But I hear baseball every year, you know, when it's getting into late October and we're getting into midway through the NFL season and the baseball season still going on. I think you hear that conversation with every sport. Who do you got, Rangers or Kings? How many games?
I like the Kings, probably in 6 games.
I was actually going to say Kings in 6, too. As ball is thrown in the dirt. Actually, in the turf, we decided. 3-1.
Still sounds weird to say.
But if you're Quade Adams here, you know, 3 walks in this inning, 3-1 here.
Bullpen is busy, Avery, for the Broncos, which I'm sure, well, I don't know what coach's thoughts were coming in tonight, but you may have to go to the pen again.
Next pitch, it's a good one, 3-2.
Reddington's shown a bit of a hesitancy to swing the bat. 2 walks, he struck out looking in the 5th, and here he's at 3-2 again. He hasn't really swung it much.
And if you're Quade Adams, that should tell you to throw it right down the middle, and he does. And Ty Reddington, right on cue, strikes out looking. So Quade Adams gets out of a mess, and the Broncos due up here, and it looks like spring. Let's see, I don't even have it right. So we'll go.
Muka, Oliver, and Knight will be coming up.
There we go. Coming up in the bottom of the 7th, you're watching El Dorado Broncos baseball here from McDonald Stadium. And a much-deserved seventh inning stretch for these fans as this game quickly approaching going over 2.5 hours. Actually, this game started about 5 minutes to 7. So a little over 2.5 hours here, and we're in the bottom of the 7th. And Dylan Muka. He'll hit a bouncer to first base, an easy play for Colin Neville. He'll step on first base and quickly out number 1. 18-7 Broncos. And now Morgan Oliver coming up for the Broncos. He's 3 for 4 tonight. 2 doubles, 2 runs scored, 3 RBIs. First pitch, low and outside, ball 1. For Tyler Shane. Next pitch from Shane, low, and that'll make it 2-0. Two-0 pitch. Outside. 3-0. Last time Morgan Oliver was in the 9-hole, 3 for 4, home run, 3 RBIs as Shane delivers a strike to make it 3-1. So Oliver 7 for 9 in the 9-hole in the last 2 games. Next pitch is high and outside. Add a walk to that. And that'll bring up the top of the order in Cameron Knight. This is the 1-hole's 6th turn at bat in this game, which is really unheard of in the 7th inning. The only time the 1-hole did not bat was in the 6th inning, just last inning. First throw from Shane. Up high and ball 1. Morgan Oliver on first base. Next pitch from Shane. Also upstairs, ball 2. As Rivera's going to run to the mound and give Shane a couple words of encouragement here. Down in this at bat, 2-0. Broncos will be on the road tomorrow night at Wellington before coming back to McDonald Stadium for a 3-game series against Hayes. Next pitch, high and inside, ball 3. Next pitch is right down the middle for strike 1. If you live in the El Dorado area and you're just tuning along, make sure you get out here sometime this summer. This is a very good, very skilled El Dorado Broncos team. 3-1 pitch is fouled behind the screen. That'll make this count full at 3-2. And if you like to see offense, as tonight is a true testament to that. 18 runs in only 6 innings, 6.1 innings. This team has some pretty good bats on it. Next pitch is outside, and that'll be a walk with now guys on first and second. Now up Levi Parker. Really getting to the heart of this order. Parker, Dalrymple, Cuddy, and then Schmitz. Levi Parker steps in the left-handed batter's box. Oliver on second. Knight on first. First pitch is swung onto the left side. And it'll be an easy play for Dillard. And there are 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. And now Clayton Dalrymple steps up to the plate. He is 3 for 4. 3 runs scored. Struck out back in the first inning. Runners on first and second. Broncos lead by 11. First pitch in this at bat is high, ball 1. Next pitch to him is a strike, 1-1. One pitch from Shane. Gets past the catcher. It's a wild pitch, and both runners advance 1 base. So that'll put Dalrymple ahead in this at bat, 2-1. And as Kurt said earlier, the biggest thing that has hurt the pitchers tonight is walks. 2 guys that are on right now on via the walk. 2-1 pitch. Ooh, that's a good curveball. In for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 guys on. Shane delivers, and it's hit down the left field line, and it's a base hit. He'll get it. It's an extra base hit for Dalrymple. 2-run score. A stand-up double, and the Broncos just couldn't go without an inning without scoring as they put up 2 more runs here in the bottom of the 7th. And Dalrymple delivers with another big base hit. And up to bat, Brandon Cuddy. A triple shy of the cycle. 20-7 Broncos. First pitch, right in between, in the hole between third and short. And Dalrymple will be held at third. So it wasn't a triple, but nevertheless another base hit for Brandon Cuddy, as he has, I guess, 5 base hits in this game, 5 for 6.
You get the feeling that if it wasn't a 13-run game, Dalrymple would have been waved home. But, you're up 20-7. That's good baseball etiquette. No reason to keep stretching it. Now, if he scores because they get a base hit here from Schmitz, then that's so be it. But you don't keep trying to push him across here at this juncture of the game. A good coaching decision from El Dorado.
Jonathan Schmitz takes his turn. Right-handed batter. Jumps ahead 1-0.
I may give you the task at the end of the night when we switch over here to figure out who the offensive star of the night's going to be for these Broncos. Because there's a lot of guys who have their hand up saying, Avery, pick me, pick me.
That's a tough decision. Everyone's been so good tonight for the Broncos. Can I just say the whole 1 through 9?
Well, you could.
That'd be the easy way out. 1-1 to Schmitz. Runners on the corners. Third pitch of this at bat is low. Ball 2. Broncos 21 hits so far in this game. Two-one pitch from Shane. Inside. Ball 3. And if you don't think other teams in this league are going to see tonight's first game of league play and see the Broncos put up 20-plus runs. You're wrong. And I would almost come in as a pitcher. And I don't know. Would you go in intimidated, excited to go against a team that's put 20 runs up as Schmitz walks to bring up Trevor Azell?
It definitely, Avery, makes a statement. Now, you and I knew, we've seen these NBC teams. We've heard of them. We haven't really watched them terribly closely through the years. I don't know the history of Derby. Are they traditionally, has pitching been an issue? Is this just one of those nights? But it's every team has these nights, and maybe Derby's just getting theirs early on. Who knows?
Trevor Azell, left-handed batter, steps up to the plate. He hits one for a base hit up the middle, and that is Brandon Cuddy, who is held at third. And the Broncos put another run on the scoreboard. And in the third quarter, the Broncos lead 21-7.
And again, we see Cuddy held up at third. Again, you're not trying to be disrespectful. You also don't want to risk an injury at a close play at the plate. You don't need that right now. El Dorado content with playing station to station, but guys are going up and they are not getting cheated, Avery. They're going up swinging and they're making good contact.
Jacob Spring now with the bases loaded.
And again, for at least the second time tonight, Avery, they'll have batted around. They sent 10 batters to the plate in the fourth inning.
2 outs here in the bottom of the seventh. Oh, 1 pitch from Shane. Swung on and fouled. 0-2. Oh, 2 pitch from Shane. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Jacob Spring, the batter. Next pitch hits him. I don't know if anyone's scoring at home, but my book looks just jam-packed. I have like arrows pointing at, this happened in this inning, and I don't know what your book looks like, Kurt, but
I may need a new pen. I think I'm going to be running out of ink here. As another pitching change here for Derby. That's a tough way to get an RBI for Jacob Spring, but he gets an RBI for getting hit by that pitch.
Dylan Muka waiting for his turn in the on-deck circle here as a new pitcher comes in for the Twins, and what a great way to start off this league play for the El Dorado Broncos. We're going to take the timeout with them. Broncos lead 22-7. More baseball coming up here. You're listening and watching El Dorado Broncos baseball.
Well, coming in now for the Derby Twins is Let's see, I've got it here. Arriaga. Arriaga. It looks like he can bring it in there pretty good, and we'll send it back to you, Avery.
Dylan Muka batting for the Broncos. Bases loaded, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th. Foul tapped to the right side, and that'll even the count at 1-1. Ball bounced to the shortstop. He'll throw it over to first, and he'll get him. But the Broncos put up more runs here in the bottom of the 7th. Broncos lead 22-7. We'll be back with more El Dorado Broncos baseball coming up.
Now facing for the Dorado Broncos out of the University of Texas title, number 23, Jake Bean. And a reminder, Broncos fans, come on out this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, for a 3-game series against the Hayes Larks, right here at Brownlawn Field at McDonald Stadium. Leading off the River Twins, number 4, Jared Flax.
And now back here, 22-7. Broncos lead. And now we'll send it over to our closer in Kirkhaden.
I've been warming up in the pen, and here we are with a quick ground ball. And over to first base, 1 out. Morgan Oliver retires Jared Flax for the first out of the top of the 8th inning. Pitching for El Dorado is Jake Bean. 1 inning for Quade Adams. 1 inning pitched, no runs, no hits. He did walk 3, but he struck out 2, so it was kind of an adventurous inning for Adams, as he did get out of trouble with a strikeout of Ty Reddington in the top of the 7th inning. So back to the top of the order, it's Juan Rivera at the plate for Derby, and Beam's pitch is low, ball 2.
I would like to throw this in here real quick, Kurt. We'd like to give a shout out to Wayne and Tammy Knight watching from Oklahoma City. They are Cameron Knight's mom and dad, so thank you for tuning us in and cheering on these Broncos.
Ground ball over to Levi Parker, an easy play over to Cuddy for the 2nd out. And feel free to email us anytime. We love to, even if it's just, hey, we're listed. These are the Knights. We're listening from Oklahoma City. That's awesome. Awesome. We love to hear from you. And we hope you're enjoying this. Again, we talked about it Friday and even Sunday. Avery and I generally are more of the talkers. We had to put the technology of this together. And big thanks to one of my good friends, Tad Humphrey at Southwestern, as a ground ball to Oliver. A very efficient 4-pitch inning for Jake Beam. And a 1-2-3 affair. I'll finish my thoughts in a moment. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 22-7, El Dorado. You're listening to Bronco Baseball.
Once again, Broncos fans, a reminder, team sports will be down this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, right here at the Coliseum at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow night, Thursday, the Broncos are at Wellington. Just a reminder, if you can't make it to the game here at Donald Stadium, you can watch and listen to every home game this season. Hurricane and APOs are doing an awesome play-by-play online. It's free access. Go to
And welcome back to El Dorado. Go to the bottom of the 8th inning here. How about Beam? We've seen a little bit of everything. And not since Hahn retired Derby 1, 2, 3 in the top of the first have we had that efficient an inning. Well, I guess it's the 5th inning. The Twins went down 1, 2, 3, but terrific job by Beam there, who's had some struggles, Avery, early on, but that was a great inning for him.
Yeah, it came in, and I'd honestly say I think the fans appreciate that too here. 4-pitch inning, real quick, 22-7 Broncos lead.
We've had 11 pitchers tonight, over 10 or 11 walks. I didn't get them all added up, but we've had a lot of walks. El Dorado has wrapped out 22 hits, and they've scored 22 times. I mean, just crazy numbers here tonight. And here we go with Morgan Oliver, and then we'll go back to the top of the order. And Cameron Knight's folks who are listening, you'll get a chance to see Cameron get another at bat. Here's Morgan Oliver, who's had a good night at the dish, and the first pitch is a ball.
Back to what you were saying about commenting, emailing us. We'd love to hear where you're listening from. Just name, and we'd love to get a Cameron Knight's parents saying, we're mom and dad listening from Oklahoma City. We love that, and we would love to hear where you're listening from, and like to hear the different places. I think Jeremy McGowan, his parents listening and watching from Florida, which is awesome.
Yeah, we're glad that we can do this, and right now we're doing all the home games, and if the right donations come in and whatnot to the broadcast, we might be able to even do more games. We'll just have to wait and see.
We'll get more mentions of this later, but once it gets closer, we would love to meet you guys for Parents Weekend. If any of you guys are coming down, or if you guys come down to a game or whatever, we'd love to meet you and see you in person and see who's listening. And it's fun broadcasting these your son's games and friends' sons' games, and it's really been we're only 4 games in, and it's been a fun ride already.
Morgan Oliver, a chopper up the middle. It's fielded, though, by Glaude, and he'll throw over to first for the out. Yeah, I know, of course, broadcasting back in Winfield, Kansas, where Avery and I are from, Southwestern College Sports, getting to broadcast kids that are both from the area and kids that are from way out of state, from a long ways away, and we provide internet broadcasts for that, for football and basketball, and it's just it's always fun. Parents, and being a parent, I'd be appreciative too, and I know parents are generally appreciative when they can see and hear about what their sons are doing. It's a long summer of baseball, which their sons love, obviously. You wouldn't do it if you didn't love it, and we're glad we're able to provide this for you. 22-7 is back to the top of the order. Cameron Knight at the plate. Knight came into the game back in the 2nd inning. Sam Lane was the starting leadoff batter, playing the designated hitter position, and Lane in the 2nd inning, after getting his 2nd hit of the night, stole second base, but jammed his fingertip into the base and was in a lot of discomfort. He came out, and Cameron Knight has filled in for Sam Lane's spot, and Knight has scored a couple of times tonight, and he has singled, scored, drove in a run, hit into a fielder's choice, flew out to center field, and walked and scored. So Cameron's had a busy night off the bench. 1 ball, 2 strikes from Arriaga. And the pitch is outside, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Bottom of inning number 8. Twins and Broncos. Knight, a right-handed batter. Arriaga, a right-handed pitcher. Here comes the pitch, and it's fouled off. Arriaga chucks it in there pretty good. He's from, well, I don't know if it's Wailuku, Hawaii, and I'm probably mispronouncing it. He plays at Yapari Community College, but Hawaiian bred, Akon Arriaga, and he slings it in really good. And the 2-2 pitch is taken for a high strike, and strike 3 against Cameron Knight. And you kind of get the feeling that we've gotten to that point of the game where, I mean, sure, both teams are still trying hard, but you almost feel like they're just trying to get to that finish line here. And El Dorado knows not every night's going to be like this. Derby knows they're ready to get back to 0-0 tomorrow night when they play again. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th, and a swing and a miss from Levi Parker. Some sad news in Major League Baseball. We've learned that the passing of Don Zimmer, 83 years old.
What? What was this?
Don Zimmer passed away. He had been recovering from heart surgery. Parker to left field, and a nice running catch by Dylan Dillard to retire the side. For El Dorado, no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. It's the first time we've said that all night. So nothing across for El Dorado. We'll keep it right here, Avery. Yeah, Don Zimmer, 83 years old. He'd gone in for heart surgery about a week or 10 days ago, and just never did recover. And just an icon in baseball.
He did stuff for the Tampa Bay Rays, correct?
Yes, he was still a senior advisor for the Rays.
Okay.
Billy Connors, longtime Chicago Cubs pitching coach, said Don Zimmer was the most knowledgeable guy he'd ever known as far as baseball is concerned. And he was just one of those guys that it was hard not to like. And you might remember when Pedro Martinez from the Red Sox came out and during a playoff game, I think, there was a brouhaha, and Zimmer got thrown to the ground. As a player, Zimmer got beamed in the head. And, of course, he played a long, long time ago, and they put metal screws in his head back then, and so they always would tease Zimmer about that as well. He was just a fun guy to listen to. I think I've got a book or two with Don Zimmer as well, but just a really class baseball guy. So we're sad to hear the passing of Don Zimmer at 83 years of age. Bean stays out after a very low pitch. In fact, it was 4 or 5 pitches in the 8th inning to get Derby out. So he returns to the hill, and he faces 3-4-5. It's Tyler Eager, the center fielder for the Twins, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Eager has walked 3 times tonight.
It's really crazy that the El Dorado Broncos have only once this whole game not scored an inning, and it was the last inning. And not only to go past that even, in 4 of the 8 innings, they scored 3 or more runs.
It was their night at the plate, and they took advantage early on of opportunities. Count goes to 3-1 here on Eager. And as the 3-1 pitch comes across, swing and a miss from Eager. Don't forget, too, I mean, it seems like a day ago, but El Dorado was up 7-1. Derby answered with 4 in the top of the 3rd, and it was game on. It was 7-5 at that point. But a good job by El Dorado to counter with a couple runs, but then back came Derby, and Eager whistles one foul, and it was 9-7. But that 6-run 4th inning, I thought, was kind of the backbreaker for Derby. They continued to fight back, but after that, whether it be El Dorado pitching or what, Derby's just kind of run out of gas, it seems like, offensively. As Eager hits a room service fly ball out to center field, and that'll be brought in by Muka for the first out of the inning.
Broncos, just a reminder, will be back in action tomorrow night at Wellington. We will not have that for you, but just as Kurt said, if you check the El Dorado Broncos Facebook page, we will try to find a link or information on if they will be broadcasting or even just having audio or just video. We will be back at it Friday night as the Broncos host the Hayes Larks.
3-game weekend series.
3-game weekend series will be here Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that'll should be another good weekend of Broncos baseball. So we'll be posting the links to all those games on the Facebook page. So if you have any, or if you don't have Facebook or don't want to go that way, look up Kurt Caden on YouTube, and you can watch the games right there for free.
And you corrected me. You don't even have to subscribe.
I don't believe you don't. I don't believe you have to subscribe to the.
Of course, it doesn't hurt to.
Then, yeah, you can.
It's free if you do subscribe. 3-0 pitch is in there for a strike to Dylan Dillard. Yeah, and then there's a little bit another home game next Wednesday, but there's a kind of a stretch where the Broncos are on the road a bunch before they get another nice long home stretch of games.
Yeah, after June 8th. They will be at home on June 11th. On Sunday, June 8th, they'll be at home against Hayes. Then they'll be home on Wednesday, June 11th. Then they're not home again until Thursday, June 19th. So a little bit of a break for at least us here. They still obviously have games throughout that period, but no home games.
Of course, we'll be following them, but not broadcasting. Oh, stepping into one here is Dillard down the left field line. Will it stay fair? It does, and it's a home run. Jake Beam says, no, that was foul. Dalrymple out in left field says it went foul, but it's the umpire who's looking right down the line. And so the home run for Dylan Dillard, it's his second home run of the night. He really turned on that 3-2 pitch. And it's the first run for Derby since back in the fourth inning when they scored 2. And then, as I mentioned just a moment ago, that made it 9-7. And then 13 straight runs, 13 unanswered runs from El Dorado before that home run from Dylan Dillard. So Colin Neville at the plate, and he'll look at strike one.
I know. When you look at the box score, you'll see 22 runs. Man, the offense was obviously really good tonight. But you have to give the Broncos pitchers credit. The Twins were really batting well. First 4 innings, scoring 7 runs. And then the Broncos pitching came in and held them scoreless the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th inning.
Hard hit ball to Morgan Oliver. He fields it, throws it over to Cuddy for the second out. Derby about to experience the loss for the first time this year. Both teams coming into play tonight 3-0. League opener for both teams. I did want to mention, Avery, that the Butler County Animal Response Team, you can join them for a fundraiser and disaster preparedness event on Saturday. So if any of you are listening, on Saturday night, as a foul ball from Austin North goes behind us. Game against Hayes this weekend. Come out, watch great baseball team, donate to help the Butler County Animal Response Team fill their disaster response trailer. And they're looking for just a whole ton of stuff. Miscellaneous pet supplies. Orth looks at ball one. Cage covers, sheets, brushes, dog and cat shampoo, travel bags, garbage cans, bungee cords, tissues, bottled water. I mean, whatever you can think of that an animal response team might need, that's what they need. And they are going to be gathering those items at 7 o'clock here on Saturday night. We wanted to mention that here on the air. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Not only do you get to come out and watch a good team, you get to help out a good group.
Yeah. Butler County Animal Response Team. And, you know, if we get a chance, of course, you won't be here Saturday night.
No.
Avery's got many jobs. So I'll be flying solo that night. For any Avery Osen fans out there who are wanting to know where you're at Saturday night.
There's none.
Oh, I think there's some. Let them know about it, folks.
Nope. But, yeah, well, I'll be here Friday, and as the Broncos host the Larks.
And then again Sunday.
And Sunday.
2 balls and 2 strikes to catcher Austin Orth. And he fouls one off. Orth tonight doubled back in the second inning and then was trying to get to third base on a single, but a great job by Dalrymple as he made it look like he was going to catch a fly ball. It one hop to him. Orth tried to go second to third, and Dalrymple threw him out. Orth came back and singled in the 3rd inning. grounded out to short, walked, and now flies out to center field to end the game. And El Dorado is now 4-0, and more importantly, 1-0 in Jayhawk League play. And just a tremendous effort tonight. And you're right, Avery, it's really hard to pick one offensive star tonight for El Dorado. But I do want to mention Brandon Cuddy, because Cuddy had 2 singles, 2 doubles, and a home run. He triple shy of a cycle, flew out in the 3rd inning. So what was he, 5 for 6 tonight? Cuddy scored 4 times, and he had 4 RBIs. So a huge night for Brandon Cuddy in his first game with the Broncos this year.
Yeah, and he really showed what he's going to bring to the table. 5 for 6, as you said. A triple shy of the cycle, and I'm excited to watch him play his summer ball here at El Dorado.
The winning pitcher tonight, it'll go to Landon Bush. Hahn didn't pitch enough innings he was the starter tonight. So Landon Bush will get the win tonight for El Dorado. The loss will go to Stuart Patke for Derby, and there was no save. Time of tonight's game was 3 hours and 7 minutes. El Dorado wins 22-8. Again, the Broncos on the road tomorrow night at Wellington. We're back on the air Friday night as Hayes comes to town for the first of a 3-game weekend series. Hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Thanks so much for your emails and your comments, and we hope you'll be back with us on Friday right here online. So for Avery Osen, I'm Kurt Caden bidding you good night from El Dorado.